So Dr. John James has joined, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Jose James, sir, welcome. Good morning. After a long time, I think more than 8 years to 10 years.
Hello.
James. Morning, morning. Morning, bye.
After a long time we are meeting.
Yeah, after many years.
Yeah. Listen soon.
Many.
Hello, Jose.
Good morning.
Good morning, Professor. How are you?
So, how are you?
Good. Going well.
Oh, good. That's nice seeing you after a long time.
Yeah, after a long time. Yeah, I think after you left Trivandrum, we couldn't meet.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. Ghosh Kumar. All right, sir. Where are you sitting now? Where are you put up now?
Hyderabad, man.
Pardon?
I'm in Hyderabad.
Oh, good.
I'm in Hyderabad.
Very good.
Sir, Abraham, sir, good morning. Good morning. Is it audible, sir?
Yes, sir. It's audible, sir.
Yeah, very much.
Principal, sir, unmute பண்ணுங்க.
Principal.
Sir, good morning.
Very good
Welcome.
morning. Very good morning. Good morning to all, one and half participated here. Very good morning to one and all.
Good morning.
Chief guest. Okay. Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Good morning. I would like to start this conference with formal greetings. Once again, good morning to all.
Good morning.
I want to all gather here for
Very good
the
morning.
international conference on education and new learning technologies. The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. To seek God's presence, I invite Dr. Merlin Thanga Daniel, Assistant Professor, for the opening prayer. Sir, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let us pray. Our loving Heavenly Father, we thank you and praise you in this wonderful and auspicious occasion. In this, you have enabled us have the centenary celebration of the YMCA College of Physical Education, with the full of joy and happiness. As we have the international conference under the titles Education and New Learning Technologies, Lord, we would like to surrender all of us into our mighty hands. Help us to acknowledge that your mercy always rule in the midst of us. In this happy occasion, we just remember the founder of YMCA College, Dr. Harry Crow Buck, in the pioneer in the field of physical education. We thank you that you have given him knowledge to promote sports and establish Olympic movement in India. We thank you for the excellent works that he did as the father of physical education in India. We thank you for the vision you have given him to prepare physical education leaders with the holistic development of body, mind, and spirit, nurtured with a strong commitment to serve humanity, reflecting Christian values. Lord, we thank you for today's prominent guests, such as resource person, felicitators, and special addressers. We also remember our national president, chairman of our college, correspondent secretary, principal, administrator, teaching and non-teaching staff members, and participation. We just commit every one of us in your mighty hands. We give you glory, honor, and praise. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Myself, Dr. Prabhu, a librarian at YMCA College of Physical Education. Before starting this program, I'm happy to inform you all that our college has completed 100 years. In view of celebrating the centenary years, today the conference is being organized. To propose the welcome address, I welcome the Lord Almighty into the midst of this conference. First of all, I'd like to welcome Professor Dr. N.S. Santosh Kumar, Vice Chancellor, the Tamil Nadu Doctor Law University, Chennai. Out of his busy schedule, sir had accepted our invitation and has felicitated our conference. I cordially welcome you, sir. I feel immense pleasure to welcome Professor Dr. Chinnaparetti, former professor and director, Department of Physical Education, SK University, and the sports advisor to the government of Andhra Pradesh. He's also the president of National Association of Physical Education and Sports Science. My hearty welcome you, sir. I'm happy to welcome Professor M.L. Kamalesh, former principal, Sports Authority of India, Lakshmi Bai, National College of Physical Education, Trivandrum. I'm so happy to welcome you, sir. I feel much privileged to welcome Professor Dr. Jose James, former registrar and director of Physical Education, MG University, Kottayam, Kerala. My hearty welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to welcome Professor Dr. R. Subramanian, Dean, Academics and Head, National Sports University under the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, Impal, Manipur. I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir, for this program. First, it's my duty to welcome today first resource person, Professor Dr. Julson M. Santos, Associate Professor, Pan Pacific University, Philippines. Really, I'm very happy. Out of your busy schedule, you have been accepted our invitation and have joined to felicitate this one-day international conference. Really, I feel much privileged to welcome you, sir. I'm really very happy to welcome our second resource person, Dr. T. Prathiban, the senior librarian, UVA, Valasa University, Sri Lanka. I like to acknowledge you, sir, for accepting our invitation out of your busy schedule. Sir, really, I have no words to thank for accepting us. I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. I feel very happy and honored to welcome our beloved correspondent secretary for his guidance and encouragement. I am sincerely welcome you, sir. I'm really happy to welcome our beloved principal, Dr. George Abraham, for his great support in all our endeavors. And I'm happy to welcome you, sir. It's my duty and honor to welcome all our faculty members and the participants. Without you all, it's very difficult to organize such a conference in this pandemic. I'm also happy to welcome our technical team, and I wholeheartedly welcome each and everyone for this international conference on education, learning, to 2021. Once again, I like to welcome you all, particularly today's chief guest of honor, and invited speaker. Welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhu. Thank you, Dr. Prabhu, for the beautiful welcome that you have given to all the people who have been gathered here and all the legends who are with us on the centenary celebration. Thank you once again, the organizing secretary, Dr. Prabhu, the librarian of YMCA College of Physical Education. Now, I'm Dr. J. Jyoti Dayanandan, Associate Professor, and I take the pleasure in introducing our today's legend, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N.S. Santosh Kumar, the Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu, Dr. Ambedkar Law University, Chennai. He is a good academician as well as a good administrator. After acquiring his post-graduation in Commerce, Public Administration and Law, he had pursued his PhD in law in the area of international acceptance of alternative dispute resolution, and he has also even suggested for constitutional amendments to be made it as compulsory before opting judicial remedies. He has written many articles in prestigious journals like All India Reporter, Madras Law Journal, Labor Law Journal, and many more to his credits. And he has participated in many national and international conferences and acted as a chairperson, resource person, and delivered many lectures and also presented papers. He has authored 2 books on freedom of speech and expression of censor, law and justice, and on cyber crimes, law and justice, and has also served as an editor and chief editor of renowned journals of the Department of Legal Studies many times. His administrative acumen is worthwhile to be mentioned, as he had inherited the blood of an administrator since his father had been the administrator, and since his childhood, he had been an excellent and been under the guidance of an administrator. He has been elevated to the level of State Director of Legal Studies and served for a longest period of 7 years in that position. Besides, served as a principal of prestigious Madras Law College, the second oldest law college in India, Government Law College, Coimbatore. He has also coordinated many activities with judicial, government, and legislators, could achieve remarkable development in the development legal studies, like starting of 7 colleges, spent nearly 800 crores for infrastructural development, introduced 11 innovative LLM courses in various law colleges, appointed more than 200 assistant professors for various law colleges, and served as a chairperson and member of convener committee of various universities for some various cases. Right. As an administrator, he served and never compromised in discipline inside the campus and created an academic flavor. And we also would say that while being in his campus, he has always fetched his name as a good administrator. So we have a good administrator in front of us. May I request you, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. N.S. Santosh Kumar, sir, to kindly deliver the gathering.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Jyoti, for the lengthiest introduction about me. Thank you so much. Respected principal of the prestigious century-old college, the YMCA College of Physical Education, Dr. George Abraham. Guest of honor, Professor Chinnapareddy, Professor M.L. Kamalesh, Professor Jose James, Professor R. Subramanian, Resources person, Dr. Juvelson M. Zandos, Dr. Parthiban, the organizing committee members, the faculty members, the technical supporters, the students, and ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning to one and all assembled here. I'm extremely happy to know that this prestigious YMCA College of Physical Education, Madras, first in South Asia, is celebrating the centenary celebration this year. My hearty wishes to all connected in this great occasion. It gives me double happiness when I see the history of this institution, where one Eric Krobeck founded this institution in the year 1920 itself, and who had played a key role in promoting sports and establishing Olympic movement in India. He has been called as a father of physical education in India, and he has participated in so many physical education related activities. When such a person is brain behind this institution, we can automatically come to a conclusion that it is a golden institution, and it will not only celebrate centenary celebration, but also it will perform excellently for many more years. And the person who gets a chance to study in this institution would be very lucky, and each one will be regarded as a prestigious man of this country, including the principal, including the people who are associated with this institution, will definitely be called as the prestigious men of this country. I'm sure. Such a great institution is now celebrating this centenary celebration. Equally, I'm happy to note that a right person is in the right place in this institution. Yes, I mentioned about its principal, Dr. George Abraham. His dedication, devotion, sincerity, determination to correct this institution and run this institution successfully for years together itself speaks many good things about this institution. Hats off to him. It is really wonder to note that there are two stalwarts from the judicial, Honorable Mr. Justice Kurian Joseph, the proven judge of the Apex Court of India, and Honorable Mr. Justice J.B. Koshi, the former Chief Justice of the prestigious Patna High Court, are monitoring this institution, and participating in its developments means we need to have no other certificate about this institution, and can very well be declared as it is a 916 institution, which is much above A++ of NAC. By the way, it shows his lordship's interest on sports also. That I must definitely mention here. I'm really fortunate to be with these stalwarts in this great occasion, for which I'll be thankful to Dr. George Abraham, the principal of this great institution, for inviting me for this international conference. When the entire world is keenly watching the Tokyo Olympics, and Indians are celebrating the performances of Miss Sidhu, Ravi Kumar Dania, Manpreet Singh, Bajrang Punia, and others, this prestigious institution is celebrating this by conducting this international virtual meet today. Really happy to know that. I really appreciate the organizers for fixing a very interesting theme for this international conference: education and new learning technologies. Though it speaks for itself, it is very provocative. No doubt, technology has impacted almost every aspect of life today. Even tender coconut vendors are using GPay. Beggars are having Android mobiles. In such a case, education will not be an exception from using technologies for its developments. We are currently living in an era of digital technologies. Information technologies and communication technologies are maximum influencing the ways in which we live, we work, we learn. The technology acts as a direct substitute with no functional change. It allows for significant task redesign. It further allows for the creation of new tasks previously inconceivable. There will be an increased confidence and trust in officials due to technology's presence also. It creates participation and promotes new and alternative opportunities. It leads to more coverage and revenue. It adds glamour and even improves safety. No doubt. Technology brings benefits to all. Equally, it brings disadvantages also. Sometimes technology needs to be embedded and improved before it is fully effective. The growing use of technology in society has been the driving force behind the digitalization of education. As education, policymakers and society in general believe that technology can improve education. This is why education systems around the world are incorporating digital skills into their curricula and assessments, and are encouraging teachers to include technologies in their classroom, either as a tool for facilitate for learning or as a means for formative assessments. Thus, it can be seen that there are high expectations that digital technology will optimize the student learning, and this is reflected in the increase in educational policies and new curricula. Therefore, the adoption of technology has become an emerging aspect of the broader decision in the field of education in general. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to acknowledge the growth and impact of digital age, which compels the educational authorities, place a greater emphasis on the integration of digital technologies within the education. On a world scale, financial expenditures for the production and attainment of technologies for implementation in education continue to increase exponentially. Take the case of India. There is a statistic says that for the sake of improving technologies, India is spending more than 13% of its per capita. That means such a huge funds are being floated for the purpose of the improvement of this technology in our mother country. Though technology is a wide spectrum, let me confine myself to education and new learning technologies in physical education, as I am sitting in front of many stalwarts in the field of physical education. In fact, with an increasing number of technologies available, physical educators have begun to explore the applications of technology into physical education environments. However, the opportunities for digital technologies to shape physical education in new and positive ways should still more to be explored. That is my personal view. Whether Dr. George Abraham will agree with me or not, I do not know. In physical education sector also, it must be developed to the maximum. Technologies gives better performance. Even small marginal gains makes the difference. Information can be shared easily and quickly and stored in a long period of time. The decisions and scoring are more reliable and accurate in the field of physical education. Therefore, focusing on technology in physical education is very, very important, especially regarding specific technologies used in this discipline. It has been suggested that the integration of the appropriate assessment of students and their physical ability into the physical education curriculum is an essential element of physical education. And highlighting the need to apply the technology in physical fitness testing for young people and to address the problems of setbacks due to space and time constraints are also very much essential. Ladies and gentlemen, using technology to facilitate the learning in classroom as a growing focus in educational institutions, as it is increasingly instrumental to enhance the learning process. One of the benefits of incorporating technology into physical education classes is that learning can be enhanced beyond strategies, skills, rules between individual and the team, by which physical activities can be individualized to create optimal challenges for the students. In addition, several researchers have found positive results regarding the impact of the use of these technologies in physical education in terms of different aspects such as understanding and cognitive motivation of students, motor skill performance, and the level of physical activity in the classroom, among other aspects. The mobile technology has provided with physical educators a wealth of tools. There are numerous apps that can be taken advantage of, with some allowing for movement tracking and nutritional helps, while others assist in enhancing the athletic activities. Apps involving video and picture analysis can be used to examine athletic movement and ultimately help to improve physical skill of the individual also. Therefore, we can say that it improves access to facilities, provide adapted equipments, raise the sports profiles, increase spectators' knowledge, and enhance athletes' achievements. Therefore, physical educators should not only shy away from the trial and error while thinking of new ways to use apps and beyond the classroom and inside the classroom. Takes a case of physical education apps. Innumerable number of these type of apps will allow for movement tracking and nutritional health, as I already referred, while others assist in enhancing the athletic activities. Apps involving video and picture analysis can be used to examine athletic movements and ultimately help to improve physical health skills. Apps like MyFitnessPal, Coach Eye, Google Earth, even Team Shake show the width and breadth of offerings available and can get you thinking about many different possibilities. Secondly, wearable technology has changed the way we collect and evaluate the personal data. Tools such as pedometers, smartwatches, and heart rate monitors are increasingly being used to track and analysis their heart rates, activity levels, or the number of steps to be taken within a time frame. Thirdly, virtual connections like this are valuable for encouraging discussions after physical classes. It enables the communication for students applying physical education techniques or working on sports practices or exercise outside the classroom. More than that, inviting guests through virtual means disseminates immense knowledge in this field also. Fourthly, gaming systems like interactive videos such as Dance Dance Revolution, Y-Fit, Y-Sports are invaluable tools in promoting physical activity of the students. Sixthly, video resources are the result of advancement in technology through internet. It's possible stream videos, YouTube and Vimeo, which provides wide range of tools which are giving useful demonstrations for skill development in the field of sports and games in the form of exercise and yogas. Though the above analysis, it can be seen that virtual reality technology will be further developed in the field of sports. The management of sports activities in the field of office automation through information technology will be used to establish a simulation laboratory to drive sports to a higher development direction. Virtual reality technology can be used in sports skills, guidance, and management. The most effective way is to use multimedia technology for sports activities, which can improve the effectiveness of the physical exercise also. Ladies and gentlemen, I once again appreciate the organizers, especially Dr. George Abraham and his team, for choosing this topic for a detailed discussion from this morning. If you allow me to talk, I will talk more than 2 hours, no doubt at all. Such an extent it attracts each and every one because it is directly connected with the human body and its activities. Let this international conference go on in a very successful way with an extensive and constructive discussion, and wishing you to derive a firm conclusion on the subject matter also. With this little information, I am extremely happy to inaugurate this international conference on education and new learning technologies formally. I wish you all the best and thank you very much to one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your vibrant and inspiring inaugural address, sir. We are really inspired by your speech. You have taken us all virtually to the digital age physical education. So surely we will take up your ideas and we will try to bring positive changes in the field of physical education through digital instruments. Thank you, sir. We would like to honor you with a certificate of appreciation from the College of Physical Education. Please accept it, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, here's your certificate. Please accept. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. At the outset, I am happy and delighted to introduce the guest of honor, Professor Chinnapareddy, in this platform. Sir is a well-known expert in the field of physical education. He is the chief patron of National Association of Physical Education and Sports Sciences, shortly called as NAPS. He is the former professor and director of physical education of Sri Krishnadevaraya University. He has been the technical advisor to Government of Andhra Pradesh for sports and physical education from the year 2006 to 2008. He has 35 years of experience in various capacities as assistant professor, associate professor, and professor. He represented his university and state in the game of Kabaddi. He has won the championship in the university weightlifting competition, and also he was an university athlete. He has presented more than 200 papers in national and international conferences. He has guided 25 PhD scholars, and 18 MPhil scholars. He has authored 6 books in the field of physical education and sports. He has organized 12 international conferences, 20 national conferences, 15 national workshops, and 15 university and all India tournaments. He is a member of various international and national associations, is the member of University of Board of Studies for more than 15 institutions, is a member of selection committee for many institutions, is the chairman of UGC NET examination, is also the convener of NAC peer committee. He has visited many countries as official deputed by the government. He is the first doctorate degree holder in the field of physical education among the Andhra Pradesh universities. He is the first person to initiate the 2 years MPE program, MPhil program, and also PhD programs in Andhra Pradesh universities. Apart from his academics, his service was extended as NCC officer, NSS officer, president of Rotary Club, honorary correspondent of Rotary English Medium School, vice president of State Hockey and Athletic Associations. He is a player, captain, manager, selector, administrator, teacher, researcher, and academician. Sir, we are really fortunate to have you as our chief guest of honor for this conference. We are eager to listen to your words. Sir, please.
Thank you very much for introducing very elaborately and neatly. The honorable chief guest, honorable and respected chief guest of this morning, Professor Santosh Kumar, my old friends in the profession, Kamlesh, and then Joe James, Subramaniam Jab, the organizing architect of this conference, George Abraham, Benjamin Franklin, and dear friends who are assembled here this fine morning. Good morning to all of you. I am honored, deeply touched to be with you this fine morning in commemoration, in connection with the 100-year celebration, centenary celebration of the great institution of Southeast Asia, that is Physical Education College of IMC. It is the time for all the physical educationists to remember, to recollect the commitment, the dedication, the devotion, the vision with which this institution was started in the year 1920. How grateful we are, how honored we are, how thankful we are to remember the great man, H.C. Buck, the great man who is called very affectionately among the physical education field, Harry Crowd Buck. If he has not started this with a vision, the great people from physical education field worked not only in India and abroad would have not come up. So we have to recollect, remember his vision of starting this great institution. George has been continuously conducting number of seminars and conferences during this 1 year, which are admirable, which are knowledgeable, which are appreciable by each and every physical educationist. He has brought number of the learned speakers to listen other than the physical education people like the present chief guest, and that is in itself is an appreciation. Appreciating by physical education is not a great thing, but appreciation by great judicial officers, by great vice chancellors, by great Olympians is highly admirable for the institution. So it is a remarkable thing. He has conducted this kind of international conference to give a great big and welcome to the people who are going to the international Olympics to participate before starting the Olympics. Yeah. I completely heard that with the vice chancellors involving and the Olympians involved. Everyone felt superb happy and superb happiness for the celebration being made by this great institution. Now today, just before closing day, once again he has made all these functions to be, though it is 1 day of function, It is 1 year to be remembered or 100 years to be remembered by all of us who are participating in this event. So, Mr. George, I congratulate you and the institution for your best making. And very rarely we come across the platform. We are all old friends working for together, a hardware people. You have made us to come to the software today to talk on the new technology. Myself, Kamalesh, and Joe James, we are all from the hardware people. We are not software people. We are all hardware people. But today, you are making us to think. PV Sindhu has given one statement after reaching the Delhi in front of the ministers. I have learned a new thing, how to play my match without the spectators, without the encouragement, which I have played for the first time in my history of any medal. I have not played any match without spectators, but I learned how to play the match. So it's a new learning, how to play the match without spectators and how to win the medal without spectators. She has learned. She herself has expressed this both in Hyderabad when she landed in her motherland, as well as in Delhi, she landed in her own country. So this is a new lesson for them. And every physical educationist now working in the field have to learn the new technology. Education is a completion, it's not a full stop. It is a continuous process, my dear young people. Please learn the new technologies which are available in front of you. Number of conferences which you are attending, number of seminars which you are attending has made you. We all learned when me and Kamalesh went to 1988 Seoul Olympics. Before that, we used to have a pre-Olympic conference. Every Olympics, there used to be pre-Olympic conference. This time they are going to have post-Olympic conference from September 7th to 10th. Instead of pre-Olympic, they are having post-Olympic from September 7th. Unfortunately, not offline, it is online. Again, same webinar. So when we went there for presenting our papers in those days, we used to have the over projector, not large, the computer science like that. It was so difficult to make ourselves all those things. Now technology has improved a lot to make you, when you want to go for your research work in 1950-85, when we did our PhD, we have to go to many institutions like YMCA, Gwalior, those days. But today, everything is available in front of you. The moment you click your button, whatever material that you want, abundant material is available in front of you. So utilize this material for your academic knowledge and improve your knowledge as much as possible. That is which is in your hands only. I once again express my deep sense of gratitude to the chief guest who has enlightened us extremely well today this morning with abundant knowledge, and to George Abraham, who made us to be on this platform with my old friends, and how proud I am, how glad I am, how honored I am, how impressed I am to be with you this fine morning. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ma'am, unmute பண்ணுங்க ma'am. Ma'am,
Please unmute Dr. Glory. Please unmute.
So thank you very much, Professor Chinnappa Reddy, for the lovely words that you have spoken. Indeed, we are honored as a whole institution. We are deeply honored by your words of appreciation. Thank you very much. And now I'm indeed very, very happy to welcome Professor M.L. Kamlesh. He was my teacher at LNCP Trivandrum. He has got a very, very lovely profile of him. I just wanted to let you know and then add my own experience with my principal, Professor M.L. Kamlesh. He was born in 1940, January 16, and he is a very learned and eminent person. He has fetched his degree from MA English, Hindi, MA Physical Education, PhD, and DSc from Sri Lanka. He was the former principal, Sports Authority of India, Lakshmi Boy National College of Physical Education, Trivandrum, and former Dean, Faculty of Physical Education, University of Kerala. He entered into the government service as a physical education teacher on 3rd September 1956 and retired on January 31st, 2002 as principal of an institute. And then he has authored and published 27 books, 54 research papers in national and international journals, and 34 articles on subjects like sports psychology, research methodology, curriculum planning, physical education, sports management, and so on. And he has also attended 8 international and 78 national seminars. He has also delivered 14 keynote addresses in various conferences. He has traveled to USA, England, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Singapore, Seoul, Kuala Lumpur, Hong Kong, Portugal, in connection with international academic conferences and research work. His important assignments are member selection and appointment committee at various universities, state public service commissions, Sports Authority of India, dean, chairman, academic boards, member, editorial boards for various journals. He has also received national awards like Lifetime Achievement Award by Sports Psychology Association of India, conferred on November 26, 2004 during the National Sports Psychology Conference, Jammu University. And he has also received Lifetime Achievement Award in 2005 for development of physical education by the Alumni Association of Jivaji University, Gwalior on 20th May 2005. He is a man of values, a disciplinarian, eminent teacher. I still remember his classes on sports psychology and research methodology. Wonderful examples he gives to the students to understand what is motivation and how to write the reviews of literature. It's still in my mind, and I have his notes with me. When on that, I used to a lot of English words that he had taught us in the class. So he was an excellent teacher and a legend in the nation. He always used to get up early in the morning at 4 o'clock, and he used to write lots of articles for the book. It may be for books or journals. He used to tell this in our class, and it was really a motivating to us in those days and still now. And he's also a person who exercises every day. We could see the time we get into the ground, he'll go back to his home. So he gets up very early in the morning, go to the ground, do exercise, and still he is continuing that. I'm so happy for it. And he's a very, very straightforward person. And we have never seen him coming late, or he's a very, very, very punctual person, and he expects the same from the students. We used to rush to our classrooms before time, the site of our principal, Dr. Kamlesh. And we used to have lots of books in our library, the latest updated journals, and lots of books in the library, which will enhance us to read more. Whatever he in the classes, the next time we'll go to the library, and when we see that, it will be there in that. So lots of books were there in our library, and all these sports laboratories were updated when we were studying. So both practicals and theory, we learned so much with him when he was a principal. And the thing is, when during his principal, there were only 20 seats for MPE, and principal took. So the total strength was 25 during his effort. He has made lots of efforts to make the students learn more. And at the time of his leadership, it was a student-centric learning that we enjoyed most. And indeed, I'm so happy. I feel very blessed to be a student of Dr. Kamlesh. Thank you very much, sir. And indeed, we are honored for your presence and eager to listen to you. Sir, please.
Professor Abraham, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Glory, for glorifying me, which I did not need many words to be spoken about me, because long introduction on your part impinges on my time. I wanted to be very brief and terse, because we are celebrating the spirit of an institution which started 100 years back, and its start coincided with Antwerp 1920 Olympics, which was a huge turning point in the history of Olympics. A great milestone, because the flag, Olympic flag was introduced there only, and the Olympic anthem also. Now we have traveled 100 years, and your conference here is coinciding with 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Much water has flown down the Ganges since then. Things have become great. Things have changed a lot. But the contribution of the YMCA College of Physical Education can never be overlooked in any case. Long back, almost 50 years back, I was working in a public school as a physical education teacher, but I used to teach English there also, because the principal asked me that if I worked only as a physical education teacher, then students will consider I am a Havaldar. Because I was qualified, so much qualified, he said, I could teach. And I taught it very well. Now, when I look at state of physical education, there was one certificate holder, a physical education teacher there. He was a certificate holder from YMCA College. And I tell you, when I compare the master degree holders of today with that man, he was too much superior than what master degree holders today are. Excellent, I tell you. And that is the impact of the institution, the impact of the training that institution produced. Another point, which wonderfully has been dwelt upon by the chief guest of today, Professor Santosh Kumar, about the new technology, new learning, and introduction of technology in physical education. And he has wonderfully listed so many areas where technology has played a great part and has to play a great part. For example, in sport system, technology has done a tremendous job. That was 1964 Olympics at Tokyo. That was the first time when they switched over to, or they introduced the broadcasting of the Olympic Games via the television. You see, before that, because of the expenditure on organization of Olympic Games, many countries, they were becoming bankrupt. And once the television was introduced, so the International Olympic Committee started earning revenues in millions of dollars. And now they are so rich because of the broadcasting rights and advertisements, etc. That is one side of technology. Second is how many huge multinational companies have produced a lot of equipment, lot of footwear, which is sport person friendly, and they spend millions and millions of dollars on research work. But when I look at the research system or research program in physical education, there is much to be done. Not much has been done, but much has to be done. Because we are not using technology. Now, you look at the teaching practice. Still, the same system is being carried over everywhere, whether it is in sports universities or it is in physical education colleges or anywhere. The same system is being carried 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then 8, 7, 6, 5, like that. It is still going on. But how much of technology we have used? Probably none. The new concept of sports universities has come up. But unfortunately, what is there in sports universities today? The same physical education courses. Why cannot we think something beyond? Physical education has been built by physical education colleges, built up by physical education colleges, of which you are a leader. But then what has been done? They are reverting to physical education courses. Actually, they should be doing so much of research. They should be using so much of technology to make people better aware of the things that have to come. They have yet to come. Not that they are here now, but they have yet to come. So I don't find that people are using any kind of technology to improve upon what already has been done. That is one point. Second is innovative thinking. Where is the innovative thinking? Once we start something, the next generation should be building it up, building it over. But they are not building it. They are reverting to the same old behavior, which is not a good thing. Now, physical education colleges are starved of books. But as Glory was telling, you see, we try to bring in the best of the literature that could be possible. But unfortunately, the people who come after, they do not share that vision which should be shared. Another thing that we need today is to have an integrated approach. Now you see physical education as a teacher education is controlled by some other agency. Physical education as a school program is controlled by some other agency, state agencies and central agencies. And physical education as a program of activity is controlled by the colleges of physical education. Now, research, where is the research, actual research being done in physical education? So there has to be, and then we are only introducing what is happening physical education courses. Now we say so-and-so course, Bachelor of Physical Education and Sports. Why sports? You are saying sports because sport is itself a part of physical education. Physical education is the mother. Physical education is the milk. Rest of the things, sport is it's butter. But you want to have the butter without improving the quality of milk and without improving the quality of the cow that gives the milk. These are the things that need to be looked at with an impatience, attitude, looked at from the realistic point of view. And I am sure this conference which you are organizing is really going to be a milestone in bringing in the new technologies and making people physical educators and physical education teachers and management in physical education to look for something new, to look for something innovative, to look for something which will really be another stepping stone for physical education and sports. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a big surprise when George Abraham talked to me and he wanted me to be guest here. So I heartily thank him. And it's so nice to be with you, and it's so nice to rebuild the system that was needed to be rebuilt. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your inspired speech, sir. On behalf of YMCA College Management, correspondent, principal, administrative officer, executive secretary, project secretary, organizing committee, teaching and non-teaching staff. We thank you very much for your presence and energetic speech in this international conference. Once again, I thank you, sir. As a token of gratitude, we want to honor our first guest of honor, Professor Chinnappa Reddy. Kindly accept our e-certificate, which is presented virtually now.
Thank you very much. Very nice of you.
Thank you.
Please accept.
Please accept, sir. As a token of gratitude, we want to honor our guest of honor, Professor M.L. Kamlesh. Kindly accept our e-certificate, sir. Which is
I accept this with
Thank you.
privilege.
Thank you. I am honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are honored. We are honored.
Thank you, sir. Now we move on to our next guest of honor. I feel extremely delighted to introduce our guest of honor, a well-known personality in Kerala, familiar person in India and other country too, in none other than Professor Jose James. He is a man of simplicity and multi-talented personality. Now I would like to give brief introductions about Professor Jose James. He started a higher education program, MA Sociology and Master of Physical Education from Shivaji University, Gwalior, Commonwealth Diploma in Youth and Development from London, PhD from University of Kerala, DSc from International University, Colombo. He shouldered many responsibilities in administrative services such as Registrar of Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam, Dean, Academic of Law College, Applied Science and Technology, Ras Al Khaimah, UAE, Consultant, Youth and Sports, Republic of Maldives, Director of University, Teaching and Research, Department of Physical Education and Sports Science of Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam, Kerala. A Director of College Development Council of MG University, District Youth Coordinator of NYK of India, Director Academic Universal Emperor Group Kochi, Director Academic Island Development Company of Maldives, Registrar International University of Rwanda. In connection towards his professional growth and development in academics, he was a Secretary of Syndicate, Senate, Academic Council of Mahatma Gandhi University and Royal College, Ras Al Khaimah, United Arab Emirates. Under his guidance, 5 PhD scholars was awarded from Mahatma Gandhi University. He has taken the responsibility of chairman, Board of Studies of several universities, member of several Board of Studies, committees of UGC, AIU, etc. Secretary of General Indian Association of Sports Management, and he presented many papers and attended and been a chair session of many international and national seminars in USA, UK, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Colombo, etc. And he has been a guest visiting faculty for many universities, published many professional books, received several international and national awards. Recent assignments shouldered by him, Chief Technical Coordinator and Director Logistics of 35th National Games 2015, members of committee appointed by the Government of Kerala to the study and feasibilities of establishment private university in Kerala 2015. Member drafting committee of Global Education Meet Kerala 2016. Present assignment shouldering by him, Director Research Lincoln University, Marian Research Center, Marian College, Kerala since 2019. Director Planning and Development, Marian College, Kerala since 2009. Dean Academics of Uninar Academic Service, UAE, India and Africa since 2019. Member of Board of Studies in Physical Education, Somania University, Mumbai since 2019. Consultant and many academic institutions in India and United Arab Emirates since 2009. Chairman Education Commissioner Achipachi of Kottayam since 2015. Behalf of YMCA College Management, I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir, for the International Conference of Education and New Learning Technology. Sir, please, I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Karthikeyan. Thank you for introducing me in a wonderful manner to this august audience. Well, Dr. George Ibrahim, my good old student, of course, he was my student in Mahatma Gandhi University long back, principal of the YMCA College Chennai. Then the chief guest of the day, Professor S.N. Santosh Kumar, the Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu Physical Education University. Then my good old friend, Professor Chinnappa Reddy and Professor M.L. Kamalesh. Then, of course, Professor R. Subramaniam. Then the resource persons from abroad. Then participants from all over the country, as well as from abroad, and my dear friends. When my good student, Dr. George Abraham, invited me to attend this program, it was a pleasant surprise for me because, he was one of my good students. He was a good athlete. He was a university athlete when I was the director of physical education and sports sciences of Mahatma Gandhi University. And it was a great surprise and pleasant surprise for me. And I accepted the invitation. And as Professor Chinnappa Reddy and Professor Kamalesh mentioned, it's a great opportunity to meet, or to at least to meet online some of our good old friends in this pandemic situation. Well, Dr. George Abraham and his team has taken up a very good challenge, very excellent challenge, organizing a series of seminars in connection with the 100th year celebration of the prestigious institution, YMCA College of Physical Education, Chennai. As everybody has mentioned here, it started in about 100 years back, and I had the good opportunity to visit the institution several times, of course, long back. But what we are today is because of the YMCA College today, because YMCA College of Physical Education has given a foundation for physical education in India. Then this seminar is also a very interesting subject you have taken, education and new learning technologies, especially in physical education and in library sciences. Well, of course, as I said, because I said, the relevance comes as part of the National Education Policy 2020 and the related outcome-based education, which is emphasized as part of the National Education Policy in India. As we all know, National Education Policy has emphasized a lot of opportunities for the education institutions, for the teachers, as well as for the students to develop their talents in the way they want to learn, want to develop their talents. And outcome-based education is the most effective tool of education nowadays, and it is part of the National Education Policy. As part of the outcome-based education, we have to teach our students to know what we are teaching, or we want to make them understand what's the importance of what we are teaching. Till some 5, 6, or even 10 years back, we used to teach so many things. Students, we don't know whether students know or not. We conduct some examination, and those who score good marks is considered as good students. But now, the outcome-based education, we want to measure the level of the students, the level of understanding of the students, in what way they have learned, which way they have learned, and what are its effects in the career and academic career and life in the later years to come. So that way, physical education has got a lot of things to do in this area, along with other areas. Physical education should definitely develop our area also in the new learning technologies. And National Education Policy is giving a lot of importance for physical education programs also. So we have to develop our strategy. We have to develop a new strategy through which we have to align with the other education system or the new learning technologies. Now, we know that data analysis and artificial intelligence in the information communication technologies has got tremendous impact, not only in other academic disciplines, in physical education also. Now, and a good data analyst or artificial intelligence person can tell how much another can jump, or at what rate another can run 100 meters or 200 meters. Because the technology has developed into that area where people know what is our capability, what are our capabilities, and how far we can improve in our system. So that way, we have to align with the new technologies that's coming up elsewhere in the world. And as Professor Kamalesh mentioned, our universities, physical education universities and physical education colleges have to introduce new technologies, a new way of teaching, and new systems of teaching in the curriculum, in the physical education curriculum. Then only we can improve. And another thing which National Education Policy is giving a lot of importance is the blended learning. In the blended learning, we can give a lot of inputs to the physical education sector, where the teaching can be amalgamated with other disciplines so that we can have a lot of impact in the field of physical education and so. Then, of course, physical education, as we all mentioned, we have more than 100 years of history in our country. But we have to go for a SWOT analysis now, where we stand. What's our role in physical education as a physical education teacher in the country? Or what achievements we have learned even in the recent Olympics also. I think we have to learn so many things. Physical education during this pandemic area in India, of course, is limited to some small activities. But when we see the physical education programs in other countries, especially in developing countries, as my introducer has mentioned, I had a lot of opportunities to interact with the people in many foreign countries. The way physical education is taught in this pandemic or online or virtual media is extremely different or entirely different than that what we are teaching in our country. So we have to teach physical education programs in a way that has to be impressive or that has to be effective and that should be meaningful and that should be useful for our children in the years to come. Because as you know, some of the latest studies which has gone in recent years that, the interpersonal relationship and the physical fitness development of our young children, especially in the preschool level and the early school level, has come down terrifically in these 2 years. So unless we do something very systematically or in a very structured manner, the future of our generation will be in danger. So we have to do something in a very systematic manner. And as a physical education teacher, definitely we can plan. And as a physical education college authorities, we have a lot of things to plan and implement. And physical education universities also have to tune their syllabus and the curriculum and the method of teaching in that way. And I'm sure the YMCA College of Physical Education has taken a very right step in introducing this topic for this seminar. And I am sure the participants will definitely get a lot of inputs and a lot of feedback from the seminar, and the resource persons are also very eminent resource persons we have. And I once again thank Dr. George Abraham and the organizers for inviting me to this program. And I sincerely wish the program all the success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Professor Jose James, we are deeply honored for your sharing of experience. Thank you very much, sir. We have indeed honor for having your presence with us. On behalf of the YMCA College of Physical Education, management, principal, and all the staff members, I am delighted to present the e-certificate. Please accept, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now we have an eminent personality with us, legend in the field of physical education and sports coaching, champion in football, well-known physical educationist, and great administrator. He is Professor Dr. R. Subramanian, Dean and Head, National Sports University, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, Imphal, Manipur. He is highly qualified with MPhil in Annamalai University, Master of Sports in Punjab University, MSc in Yoga, Annamalai University, MPhil, Annamalai University, PhD in University of Madras, Diploma in Sports Coaching in the game of football, NIS Patiala. He has the vast experience in academic and administrative positions, about 38 years of experience in the field of physical education and sports. Former Special Officer, High Performance Academics, Sports Development Authority of Tamil Nadu. Former Principal, PGP College of Yoga, Sports and Research. Former Professor and Head of the Department of Advanced Training and Coaching, Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University. He is the board member of our YMCA College of Physical Education. Initially, he has served as a football coach, Sports Authority of India, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, about 23 years. He has the outstanding contribution in the field of coaching and produced more than 9 national players from Sai Training Center. He has the excellent contribution in the promotion of sports coaching, has been the venue manager for training at Commonwealth Games held at New Delhi 2010. He has been member of the technical committee for 7th South Asian Federation Games, Chennai 1995. He has completed inter-coaching course in Semmelweis University, Hungary. He works in various capacities in the time to time, such as Senate member, His Excellency, Governor of Tamil Nadu, nominee for sports category, Periyar University, Salem. Syndicate member, Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University for 5 years. Chairman of Board of Studies, Tamil Nadu Physical Education for 11.5 years. Member of Academic Council of various colleges affiliated to Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University. Life member of various international physical education and sports bodies. He is the keynote speaker, chaired various sessions in national and international conference and seminars. As an academician, he attended many international and national conferences and presented the papers. He participated in more than 43 conferences. Outside India, he visited more than 7 countries. He is a resource person for a national and international conferences and for the refresher courses, more than 250 programs. He has published more than 68 research papers in various referred and distinguished journals. He authored 4 books in the field of physical education. He is having a vast experience in research. He has produced 18 PhD scholars. He has received more than 5 national and international awards. Sir, we are very much fortunate to have you here as a guest of honor. We invite our chief guest of honor, Professor Dr. R. Subramanian, to address the audience. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Samuel Jesus. Thank you for your kind gesture on me. A warm and happy morning to one and all gathered here. I deem it great pleasure and more privilege to be here as a guest of honor during the International Conference on Education and New Learning Technology 2021, organized by the YMCA College of Physical Education. So, relevant Professor N.S. Santosh Kumar, the chief guest of today's function, was clearly explained regarding the very wonderful speech on his chief guest address, and more the stalwart Professor Chinnappa Reddy Garu, Professor M.L. Kamlesh, Professor Jose James, all are there giving very good lecture on regarding the education and new technology. And moreover, I first of all, thanks to our YMCA chairman, Justice Korean Joseph. He was very good gentleman in the field of supporting the physical education to bring up like anything in our YMCA college. Because I am also the last 6 years, I was the board of member. Under him, I was working. It's a very nice presentation, and he was to bring the YMCA college to bring it to the high top level. And moreover, I was so happy because he was the chairman during the centenary celebration. So I also thanks to the organizing secretary and also the YMCA principal George Abraham to invite me as a guest of honor. Actually, nowadays, due to COVID-19 situation, a lot of the world is changing like anything. In the way of educational institution, sports academies, sports training, and everything. But many educational institutions turn towards the digital learning. Nowadays, actually, for last 2 years, they are not at all having the personal meeting. They are having all digital learning methodologies, but still we have a gap in physical education and sports. But still we are not coming up to the certain level. But we are having the using of a lot of information communication technology, ICT labs, and everything is there. But in this, it is always encouraging the coaches, physical education teachers in only a certain level. But suppose during 2 decades before, during the Champions Trophy, because I was the member of during the Champions Hockey, that time itself, how the technology is developed, because that German team, 3 that means technologists, they're sitting on the top of the gallery and they are giving the instruction to the coach who is sitting on the ground floor. So that because the instruction is coming from there, not the coaches cannot take any decision because that much technology is developed 2 decades before that. That's development we need because we are also started more than now 9 to 10 sports university we started because I'm also working in the Central University in Manipur, but it is a beginning stage. But already they started in Tamil Nadu Village Sports University, a lot of university they started because we need what already the stalwarts Dr. M.L. Kamalesh and Chennapati, all they're giving very good, nice presentation regarding. We need more research on that. Still, actually, nowadays the sports science is playing the major role for the top level. So that one of the scientists is telling clearly regarding a medicore with the sports science support will become the good player. A good player with the sports science support will become the great player. A great player with the sports science support will become the world champion. So nowadays the world sports science is the plays a major role. But still in India, we are not having reaching the up to that level of the sports science because sports science plays a major role. For example, biomechanics, sports psychology, sports physiology, anatomy, coaching, everything is coming in the sports psychology, sports coaching. So we need the sports coaching. That's why this conference is very, very essential because the new education and new technology, because nowadays the notational analysis, how to assess. Previously, what we'll do? We have to do in the paper and we are writing all the coaching aspects and we are what are the mistakes and nowadays nothing. We have to the video analysis and we have to take out all the feedback from that, who was doing the mistakes, who are doing this in operant situation, everything we can analyze easily. So that type of technology we have to bring it to the in Indian sports universities. Then only we can come up. See, nowadays very difficult we are achieving the minimum 5 medals we are reaching. But all other, if you see it's Japan, USA, they're going like anything. Why? Because of the sports science. Nowadays the sports science plays a major role. So we have to introduce the sports science. Physical education is a base. But Dr. Kamalesh is telling is the mother of our things. So, but in this we have to deviate, we have to develop the sports sciences also. Now, if you want to go for the coaching, any coaching, nowadays the sports sciences plays a major role. Because suppose, for example, without having any good fast fibers in our muscles, they are training in the speed. What is the use of that training? There is no need. So like this, we have to see the good potential, identify the talents properly. Everything we have to do it in the systematic and scientific method. Then we have to, that's why the research is very, very essential and education is also very essential. Nowadays, more articles, more research publications are coming, updates. But still we are not reaching the qualified up to that level. Why? Because of that, we are not having that. We have a good quality of all the facilities, but our physical education people, our coaching people, they have to read a lot of books, reference and everything, and they have to implement in the sports coaching. Then only we have to achieve the high level. So this conference regarding this is actually coming to the librarian level, but even though, but this is a helping to the physical education people as well as the coaches or trainers. They have to having a knowledge to read the books and educate the knowledge. Everything they have to go for the new technology aspects. See, nowadays a lot of coming there regarding the advanced technology. See, suppose for example, previously they have to, now that a lot of athletes wear the sensors to convey the real-time information to your trainer tablets. Actually, the GPS. See, previously they have to conduct all the tests. Now they're having a small resilience like one technology they're keeping in this body. When the athlete is running all the things, he can easily to find out what are the, how much he is having a pulse rate, how much he is having in the other benefits. Everything is coming in the small tablet, it will find out. So why I'm telling, so we need the sensors, such a things, we have to find out the high level performance. So moreover, the technology is revolutionizing the sports training by live tracking performance. So already Professor Santosh Kumar sir is clearly explained about the what are the technological aspects and everything. So it is virtually eliminating the injuries. Actually, we can easily to find out what are the muscles are weakened, what are the joints are weakened, what are the ligaments are weakened. So we can easily to find out all the technology, and then we have to be strengthen all the muscles, joints, and everything through the scientific method. So same thing, they're having a very good explanation regarding the sports coaching technology could change the field of coaching. Actually, a lot of technology is coming. For example, the new technology has caused the change of the way athletic coach work. So now athletic work is very, very less coaches work. Now, if you are giving someone small software, you can keep it in and you can all the other facilities, we'll get all the feedbacks, we'll get it immediately. So what about that? Suppose when India is playing with this German or Argentina or whatever maybe, immediately within a fraction of a second, who are the players they're going to play, what are the position they're playing, what are the quality, how they're having, everything is coming out. And the coach's job is very easy to, but only the things you have to analyze the part of this, where you have to be keep it in correct position, where you have to be. These all the things, because the coach's job is very good, because there is a good providing all the things. So they're having the coaching apps. The coaching specific apps or a platform related software give coaches deeper analytical data. So these are the cutting edge of coaching apps are coming up. Already that our chief guest is giving, a lot of apps are coming for the development of the things. And more technology role in coaching and proper communication. See, the communications apps are very efficiently is coming up. More efficient connection between the coach and the player, interpersonal relationship, everything is coming up. So already Dr. Hen Shalambeka, I think Dr. M.L. Kamlesh, I don't know whether he is knowing or not, but I know him from 1986. I attended the national conference at Patiala. At that time, Dr. Hen Shalambeka from German, I was attending the advanced certificate course in sports psychology. So he was that time, he was a secretary for the Sports Psychology Association. So I have attended the that means 6 weeks program under the Dr. Hen Shalambeka. So the psychological plays the major role. So what is 10% only the training aspects, the 90% will be remaining of the sports psychology support. So he is giving very good, efficient situation. Dr. Hen Shalambeka was there. He was a coach of the German team. He was the Italy team. When the Italy team was 1982 World Cup, he was a psychologist. That time that Polo Rossi was the best striker of that world. So he is the psychologist. He used to tell lot of the what is the problems in that. So psychology is the plays a major role. Like this, all the sports sciences is supporting. Not only what you are telling that all psychology only, physiology, anatomy, everything. So the communication also the same thing, how to communicate all the things. And moreover, the safety of all the things. Nowadays, the coaches can use app to oversee the players' overall health condition also. That app's also there. So training aspects, a lot of training, how to make a training, all the things. And video technology, a lot of technological, how to assess the things. Nowadays, that NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL, they're all using the video for the in-game instant replay of the determine the overcome the close or the controversial situation also. So that analysis, the data analysis also it is helping for this. So all the situation now the new technology is giving for the always the high level performance. So the changing coaching programs also we can make it as per our technological things. So nowadays that artificial intelligence, that is a new technology is coming, robotics and other sophisticated technologies also enter everyday's life. So once again, thanks our organizing committee to giving me the opportunity to give to share the platform as a guest of honor. And thank you very much for your giving me opportunity. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your valuable and inspiring speech about sports science and advanced technology in physical education and sports. Here on behalf of YMCA College and Principal, Correspondent Secretary, Administrator, Teaching and Non-Teaching Staff, we honor you with a e-certificate. Sir, please accept it.
Thank you.
I am Dr. James. With the help of 26 English letters, A to Z, it's my pleasure and honor here I'm introducing an international athlete, a man of agenda. He has always scheduled work, a man of brilliantship. All his work, he will show the brilliantship. A man of creativity. Yes, it is always new creation to develop the college, YMCA College of Physical Education. He is a man of dedication. He is a man of excellence, a man of fellowship, a man of gold medal. You might have seen in the track, a man of honesty, a man of invention, especially this type of international conference in digital mode. And a man of very jovial, a man of kindness, a man of loving, a man of majesty, a man of next generation, a man of oblige, a man of profession. He is very fond of his profession. That's what he is used to do, this type of new invention in digital form. A man of quality, a man of radiant, a man of simplicity, a man of thinking, a man of uniqueness. He's a man of vibrant, a man of wisdom, a man of gentian. It's nothing but it is a natural, being natural. A man of young generation, a man of zealful. It's nothing but passionate in enthusiasm is on his profession. He is none other than our principal, Dr. George Abraham, and convener of this international conference. Sir, please. Thank you, sir.
Sir, unmute பண்ணுங்க sir. Sir, unmute பண்ணுங்க.
Please unmute.
Thank you, Dr. James. Good morning to all of you. Chief guest of this international conference, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu, Dr. Ambedkar Law University, Professor N.S. Santosh Kumar. Guest of honor of this conference, Professor Chinnapareddy, former Professor and Director of SK University, Anandapur, and the Advisor of Government to Andhra Pradesh. Professor M.L. Kamlesh, former Principal of LNCP, Trivandrum, and former Dean of Education, Kerala University. Professor George James, my director, former Director and Physical Education of MG University, and former Registrar of MG University. Kottayam, Professor R. Subramanian, former Head of the Department of Advanced and Sports Training Technology, Tamil Nadu Sports and Physical Education University. Personally, he is working Dean and Head of Academics, National Sports University, Imphal. Respected our college correspondent and secretary, Mr. Benjamin Franklin, college administrator, Mr. Rajiv George, invited speakers, Dr. Jeverson Santos, Associate Professor, Pan Pacific University, Philippines, Dr. Pradeepan, Senior Librarian, Vellasa University, Sri Lanka, other invited professors, physical education teachers, directors, as well as research scholars, teaching and non-teaching staff of YMCA College, students, and organizing secretaries, Dr. Art Prafu and Mrs. Mabelda, and my friends, very good morning to all of you. I feel so honored and proud being the principal of this pioneer institution. Just before, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Ambedkar Law University, Professor N.S. Santosh Kumar, inaugurated this program, who is an outstanding academician and administrator. Sir, we are honored with your valuable presence and grace. I consider it is a great privilege to welcome you all to this great institution and to this international virtual conference on education and new leading technologies, EDULEARN 2021, as a part of our centenary celebration. a great physical educationist, Mr. Harry Krauberg, established this college in the year of 1920. Later, who is named as the father of physical education of India. This college has produced many physical education professionals who are the ambassadors of this college and the pillars of Indian physical education. Fortunately, we have successfully completed 5 international virtual conferences in this year. Those were very useful and informative. This is our 6th international virtual conference of this year. We have an outstanding resource persons are also with us from Philippines as well as Sri Lanka, Dr. Devalson Sandos and Dr. Pradeepan. I hope this conference would be very informative and useful to all the physical education professionals. I hope both sessions would be fruitful and informative. I would like to say 2 words about Dr. Joe James, since he's my director of when I was very young, when he was a student of MG University. I think who was the director more than 20 years of MG University. And he promoted as the registrar of MG University. He was a very outstanding person. Then moreover, Chinnapareddy sir, we have a strong relation with Chinnapareddy sir. When he was the president of NAPAS, I was one of the executive member of NAPAS between 2011 and 16. And who is very outstanding person in the field of physical education. And even now, he still look like so young, like 40s. He's a very he's a very active person in the field of physical education. And moreover, Kamlesh sir, everybody knows about Kamlesh sir because he has written so many books. Even now, students as well as scholars are referring to his book only. He's a living legend in the field of physical education. And Dr. Subramanian, who is a management board member of our college and outstanding football player who was head of the department of coaching sports university. Right now he's presently he's working as the dean academics of National University. So we are so proud for your valuable presence in this international conference. And last, I would like to appreciate the organizing secretaries, Dr. R. Prabhu, librarian, and Mrs. T. Mabelda, computer faculty of our college, for their tireless work and effort to make this program in action. Before concluding, once again, I welcome all the dignitaries and delegates to this international virtual conference. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable and inspiring special address. Thank you, sir. Next, we will move to the technical session. I am Dr. Komala, Assistant Professor. I'm here to introduce our resource person. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce our first session resource person who is going to talk to us about physical education and lifelong development. Dr. Joelson M. Santosh, Associate Professor at Pan-Pacific University, Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say a few words about Dr. Joelson Santosh. He has completed graduate of a Bachelor of Education, major in Music, Arts, Physical Education, and Health. He has completed Masters in Physical Education and Educational Administration and Supervision. And currently he is taking up a Doctor of Science in Exercise and Sports Science. He is specialized in physical education and lifelong development. He was a former head Institute of Physical Education and Sports. He is an editor and peer reviewer for several journals in the field of physical education and sports. Dr. Joelson hosted wacky numbers of webinars and conferences in the field of physical education and sports. He is a chairman for International Association of Physical Education and Sports Incorporated. He is a director, National Academy for Professional Skill Development Incorporated. He is a chief consultant editor in international journals of exercise and sports sciences. And he also editorial board member in International Journal for Physical Education, Health and Sports Sciences. Once again, I proudly welcome our resource person, Dr. Joelson N. Santosh. Sir, please hear the technical session is over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kamala, for that very kind introduction. First, let me take this opportunity to thank the following dignitaries, and most especially to Dr. George Abraham, the principal of the YMCA College of Physical Education, for inviting me, and as well to our chief guests, Professor N.S. Santosh Kumar, Professor Chipa Reddy, Professor M.L. Kamlesh, Professor Jose James, and Professor R. Subramanian. And most especially to the principal, Dr. George Abraham. Thank you so much, sir, Dr. George, for this opportunity that you have given to me to present to this international conference. So let me share my screen.
Please, you can share. You can share. Yeah.
Can you see my screen, sir?
Yes, yes, please, please.
Okay. So the topic that I'll be discussing is that lifelong development in sports and physical education. I also added sports so that we would be looking on both sides of the coin. So it's very important that when we talk about lifelong development, it talks about a long-term engagement in the field of sports and physical education. It doesn't mean that when you are an athlete from the early years and then you stopped in your early adulthood, it becomes your evidence as your lifelong engagement in sports and physical education. We really need to understand, okay, that when we talk about lifelong development and lifelong a long-term engagement, is that it is a continuous process and it would never end as you engage in different sports activity and physical education related activities in your lifetime. So to continue, so sports and physical activity. Okay, so sports and physical exercise continue to be significant drivers for individual and societal development. As we all know, physical education, physical activity, and sports activities are very essential on the development of an individual and in the society. Okay, just like in the Olympics that is currently happening right now, once a athlete became a winner or he or she have gained a medal on the Olympics, he became or she became an inspiration and a role model to the community, the society, and the country he or she is included. So this is a driver, or this is the striving force for a country, okay, for a community to be engaged to different activities related to sports and physical education. So the advantages of physical exercise or physical activity, which may be represented in variety of forms. It could be an organized or unstructured sports, recreation, active living, and play, and why are widely acknowledged. So whatever we are doing, that we are benefited both our physical, okay, and our so-called health aspects, it becomes okay. It becomes our driver, our striving force for us to really be in the long long-term engagement to physical education in sports. The important benefits or the important benefits of it is to health and well-being. So this should be acknowledged that these things that we are doing related to sports and physical activity is benefited. We are benefited through health and well-being. Whatever we do, okay, is that we always aim to be healthy, to be fit, and to be well. Because when we are well, when we are fit, we became healthy. When we are healthy, we are fit, and we are as well healthy. Okay. So long-term development is as long-term development in sports and education is a paradigm for every child, okay, adolescent, and adults development in order to maximize involvement in sports and physical activity. So looking onto this statement, we are saying that long-term development and long-term engagement is from childhood to adolescent and even to adulthood. Okay, so this would give us involvement in different sports and physical activity. So it would start, okay, on the childhood, okay, for different activities that the child is doing, crossing to the adolescent and still being continued into the adulthood. Okay, so it is considered that growth, maturity, and development, as well as trainability and alignment with athletic system. It's important for us that looking on the current scenario that the pandemic has brought to us, it's very important that we will consider how these terms or how these things would benefit us, how would this be applied to us as on a specific age range, okay, and on a specific condition that an individual is inclined to. It doesn't mean that when you have a program, okay, when you have a specific program, it would give you the so-called um, things or applicability that this program can be used by a child, it could be used by an adolescent or by a adult or a individual who has a health condition, okay, or with disability. It's very important for us to really consider those things, that these things or this program should be applicable to those people who would be using or being someone who would engage themselves in that sporting event or in that physical activity. Okay. So to continue, so let's have the so-called long-term development. So our guiding principle here is we have quality, we have optimal, and we have inclusion and collaboration. So let's deep dive on this guiding principle on the long-term development for sports and physical education. So the key component is quality. Okay, so that's the first. Our key component is quality because every kid, every adolescent and adult deserves a positive physical exercise or sports experience. It could be in a way that it is in a physical activity, fitness, sports activity, competition, or tournament. We wanted to have them a positive experience, okay, that would benefit them on a long run, okay, and they would tend to see that in any activities that they would tend to incline to related to physical education and sport, it would give them a positive impact. It would be their form of motivation to really participate, okay, on these activities, knowing that there in the end they have a positive, okay, experience positive benefits, okay, that they could really develop, okay, that they could as well really share as well to different people around them, okay. So quality refers to good programs given by good people in a good location. So when we talk about quality in a long-term development, it's important that these are programs, okay, given by an organization, by an institution, a non-government organization that really aims on developing participants, okay, has an aim of giving so-called long-term development, doesn't stop there, okay. It is a ladderized or hierarchical approach to development, okay, of a kid or of a human being or a athlete, okay, because we considered student as a student athlete as well. A student or a learner is a athlete, okay, but each and every one of us are considered as physical education and sports participants, even though we are at home, okay, because it's not, we should know that sitting is the new smoking. When you are not doing anything, you're just sitting watching in the television for an hour without doing anything, it would not benefit you, okay, physically and by your health as well. It's really important for each and every one of us to really understand what are the benefits of these physical education activities and sporting activities to us, okay. Let us make this a fun experience so that this would be a continuous activity for us to engage to. So once there is a good program, okay, a program is planned, structured, and organized properly, okay, with continuous, okay, with continuity, we are aiming for a quality, a positive activities that would drive us and to give us this eagerness to participate. Okay. Second, optimal, okay, is what we really need. Okay, so this entails providing what each participant in sports and physical education requires when they require it and in the manner in which they require it in order to achieve the maximum development. So looking on the being somewhat to optimize a program or optimize an activity, it's very important that we give the participant, okay, an activity that they require or they love or they have an interest on it, okay. So we could give it on a manner where in order to achieve in a maximum development, we are not offering an activity, okay, or an activity that is not suited for the participant, or this could be a mismatch of a so-called an event, okay, or an activity giving to someone that doesn't like to engage onto it. For example, you would be giving a candy to a early adult which is in his or her 60s, giving a candy. uh, this would not be appropriate for that individual, okay, because of the stereotypes or how we look, okay, or how we perceive things that an elderly person should be doing, okay. But relating it into sports and physical education, it's very important that we give what they really need so they can develop appropriately. Okay, so when we design programs, when we do activities, when we plan it, it's really important that we look on what are the needed things, okay, what are the needed areas to be developed by your participants. You really need to consider your participants because they are the one who would be gaining the things that you would be implementing to them. Okay. Another is inclusivity. Okay, very important. So inclusion entails removing physical, cultural, economic, psychological obstacle to participation, as well as structuring event such that no one is left out. So it means that when we do physical activity, hosting it, implementing it, physical related activities, physical education related activities, sports related activity, it should be inclusive. Okay, there are no so-called race, ethnicity, gender, okay, that would discriminate or would hinder someone to participate. Okay, we need to get rid of those stereotypes. Okay, we really need to get rid of those stereotypes that if you are that someone with this specific gender, okay, or with this age group, you cannot participate that because you're weak. You can't do this. Okay, it's really important that when we are doing a physical education activity, a sporting event, all are welcome. Okay, all are welcome because it's not enough to be permitted to participate. You're just permitted, but the community cannot accept you or cannot give you the support that you need because of your gender, because of your preferences, because of your age group, because of your ethnicity, because of your religion, your belief. So this is not inclusive. It's not in being inclusive. You need to welcome people, okay, for them to participate, for them to give, okay, their best, okay, and giving them the opportunity that each and everyone, as their predecessors, have been given the right to participate. Okay, so everyone should feel secure, okay, welcome and included. Okay, supports must be in place to engage and assist participants. Okay, that is very important. Okay, it really boosts self-confidence in a way that when we do activities, okay, we feel secure, we feel welcome, we are included, we can participate, and when we can do anything that others are doing while they are participating on that specific activity. Okay, so every program and service should be designed to welcome everyone. Okay, so get rid of the negative stereotypes, okay, and negative outlook and perspective to people, because it would not help for us to really give a long-term engagement to participants if we discriminate them. Okay, so inclusion is a subject because our existing system excludes certain people. So that's why if you are in the Paralympics or you are in the Olympic, still you are considered as an athlete, as a competitor, as a contender. Okay, you are not considered as someone with this lack of ability or with disability. You are all the same as an athlete who are participating on a sporting event or a physical education related activity. So we need to redefine the conversation to say that everyone has the potential to succeed and to win. And that exclusion is the exemption rather than the rule. Okay. Next is to collaborate can make things better. Because really, we are on this process of we are not there is a saying that no man is an island. Okay, there is no such thing as you could do everything. You are a jack of all trade. Okay, an organization, okay, or an individual, okay, can collaborate. They will be able to provide higher quality experiences because one organization has this strength, one organization has this strength, one institution has this strength, has this advocacy. So when we collaborate, when we consider as we unite, okay, and we have the same vision, we have the same aim, okay, on really giving okay, a higher quality experiences to our participants, we are helping one another to really, okay, to really give that positive experience to participants that would really give them the eagerness to participate more. This should not stop on the first session. Excuse me, from the second session, okay, it would be continuous so that they would be developed. Okay, everything starts in the beginning. Okay, it is a ladder. Okay, when you are developing something, okay, when you're doing things, everything is step by step. Okay, aligning programming and collaboration benefits communities, sports group, and health and education sectors. Okay, it really benefits us because when we unite, we are doing something that is very, very positive, and it also gives us new things to consider. Okay, and we could solve different problems and give solution when we unite. Okay, so one person, for example, may participate in a variety of sports or physical activities such as recreation or club programs, physical education, and school sports. So good growth is less likely to occur in the organization, pull the member in the opposite way. So participants are winners as a result of system alignment. Okay, so it's important for us to really collaborate, okay, to really do things that would make a positive change, a positive impact to the participants, to the members of the community, and even the stakeholders. So let's go to the quality base on the or quality sports based on the long-term development of sports and physical education. So in this structure, it's very important that it is developmentally appropriate, safe and inclusive, and well-run, meaning well-managed. So when we do these things, we lead ourselves or the individual, leading to individual excellence and optimal health. Okay, so we should not be in a way that we are looking, okay, to people, to participants, that these are people who can compete. Okay, everyone who would participate should be considered as winners, as would succeed on the different events or activities that they are doing. They could excel. Okay, so there are no so-called discrimination. Be inclusive, make them feel that they are safe, welcome, and included. It should be well managed and developmentally appropriate for the age group or to the participants who will be participating on that specific physical activity, physical education activity, or sporting events. So there are factors, okay, for a long-term development in sports and physical activity. So there are three. This is personal, organizational, and system. Okay. So these three would impact, okay, a participant, so that this would determine progress and performance in sports and physical activity. Okay, so first is, what is personal factors? Okay, personal factors, these are parents and caregivers, teachers, instructors, coaches should think about the personal factors while planning excellent programs for young participants and athletes. This is a collaborative work. This is done collaboratively. Okay, so physical literacy is developed. Okay, am I still audible, sir? Hello? Okay. So let's continue. So physical literacy is developed in an early childhood, okay, laying the groundwork for subsequent success and lifelong participation in physical exercise for health, physical activity, okay, and sporting events. So physical literacy is a desire, confidence, physical skills, knowledge, and understanding to appreciate and accept responsibility for lifelong participation in physical activities, or it could be a sporting event. So it's important for us to be motivated, okay, physically competent, and with confidence. Okay, when we know that we are safe, when we know that we could do things, we know our responsibility, we know what we can contribute, okay, this would give us this eagerness to really have a lifelong participation to any physical education related activities or sporting events. Okay. So followed by the so-called quality environment. So quality environment is the so-called greater physical literacy and improved sport-specific abilities are created by offering enhanced learning and training condition from the young age. You're conditioning them, they are starting on a very young age, okay? And individuals retain this advantage as they go through the stages of a long-term development. So a quality environment where facilities are there, equipments, positive environment, okay, secured, okay, welcoming environment, okay, an environment that would give the so-called environment, okay, a place where students or athletes or participants can really have or could really give their best on a specific activity. Okay, a good training in a competitive environment is one that is physically, psychologically, and socially safe. Okay. So again, so good training and competitive environment is one that is physically, psychologically, and socially safe. When these things are being considered, a program, an activity would be enjoyable and would have a positive impact and experience to those participants who are included on that specific activity. Next, let's go to the developmental age or developmental stage. So, individual development and grow at various speeds. As we all know, students or children nowadays are really growing fast. Okay, sometimes they are really technologically advanced. Okay, they could really manipulate. They could really have this enough knowledge and familiarization on different gadgets. Okay, but as well in sports, they have to develop and grow in various durations. Okay, so when creating training, competition, okay, recuperation programs, sports and physical activity must consider each individual stage of growth and development. Okay, there would be beginners, intermediate, advanced individuals. So it's very important for each and every one of us to really consider as well. If you are a teacher, you are a coach, you're a parent, you really need to understand that in every stages of life or any stage or age group of an individual or a participant, it has this form of duration, okay, where they would develop, okay, a specific skill, a competency, okay. So participants full physical, mental, cognitive, and emotional growth, not only physical traits and performance attribute is addressed in the long-term development. So it's important for us to have and to make sure that training, competition, and programs, okay, takes to account participants' mental, cognitive, and emotional growth. And this thing should be developmentally appropriate on that specific age group. Okay. Another, let's go to the sensitive period. So different forms of practice and instruction will have a bigger impact on a youngster as they grow and develop. So we have this season, the so-called sensitive season, offer a unique chance to practice and develop essential skills. Sometimes we could tend to see that even though we are not watching, we are not monitoring them on a specific activity or training sessions, they are discovering ways on how they would tend to have this competency or to develop these skills. Okay, but sometimes there are as well participants who need motivation, who needs people on their side to really give them the right standards, okay, techniques to follow and strategies to really process and to create a meaningful experience and skills to really give them an edge to other participants. Okay, so and physical talents that have a higher return on investment and can influence sports performance through one's life. Okay. Another, let's go to the predisposition. So not everyone is equally skilled. I hope you would tend to agree to me on that, that not everyone is equally skilled. Okay. So we as a teacher, we as a coach, we as a parent, we really need to treat them, okay, on the skills that they have, on the competencies that they have, and what they know on that specific stage. You don't need to push them, okay, or to let them do this activity if they are not into it or they are not ready for it. It should, we will always be going back that, is this activity or this program developmentally appropriate? Is this safe? Is it for that specific age group, or is it good for that specific participant? Because not all of them are skilled in all sports or physical education related activities. So individuals level of proficiency in an activity they play or they engage into affects both enjoyment and success. If a player or a participant have experienced a bad episode, okay, or a not so good impact, okay, this would really affect how they would tend to enjoy the success, how they would engage for a long-term activity, okay, because for a while, because when we see that a player, a participant, a student who is engaging to a program or activity that has no positive impact to him or her, how can we motivate him or her to play, to participate, if he or she has a bad experience on this activity or on this sporting event? Okay. Next, excellence. So athletes require years of well-planned, gradual, high-quality training to attain their maximum potential. You cannot produce an athlete, a best athlete, okay, in a blink of an eye, or if you sleep, okay. So this is a couple of years or even more years, okay, for an individual, for an athlete, for a individual to really reach his maximum potential. So success does not come easily. And sportsmen or performers may have spent 8 to 12 years practicing and competing before perfecting their craft. Okay, so while a house, okay, strategy might create early winners. It can also impede long-term growth and athletic performance. So this might somewhat contribute to burnout and overuse problems. So it takes years, it takes hard work, commitment for you to be someone who is with this maximum potential, someone who would contribute, who would really compete, participate for many times before you can perfect a skill, a strategy, okay, on a specific event that you are participating. Okay, another forever, or it should be lifetime. Okay, so an over the life course approach, meaning across all age group, okay, years, okay, or category. So it's important that it recognizes that social and cognitive skills, habits, coping mechanism, attitudes, and values are more likely learned at the key times in early life. Okay, so these abilities and skills contribute to the person's long-term health. So in this is a forever commitment. This is a forever commitment for each and every one of us. Even though you are a teacher, you are an athlete, you are a participant, this is a forever commitment for you to be healthy, fit, well, and really having this so-called long-term engagement to physical education and sports activities. Next is, let's go to the organizational factors. Okay, on the organizational factors is the way sports, recreation, education, and other organizational design and implement programs for its members and players is influenced. Okay, so the first factor is framework or a paradigm. Okay, sports must be update its long-term development framework. Okay, if there is an existing long-term development framework that from the early years to adulthood, okay, these are the stages that a participant would need to engage to for them to be this kind of person, an athletic person, a person who participate for them to be healthy, for them to be fit. It's really important that this long-term development framework is updated, that gives you guarantee that taking into account the most recent advancement to sports, society, and science, because these three things would really gives us, okay, an edge on how we could properly design a program, design an extensive approach to a life or for a long-term engagement for your participants. Okay. Another, it should be embedded. Okay. Long-term development is completely integrated into sports organization or physical education organization. It is most effective when it is really organized and that it's really embedded to a organization. So governance, competitive structure, and regulation, coaching education, and official developments are all part of this embedded program. That there are people, there are professionals, there are experts who are really working collaboratively, working together to really maximize and to really give, okay, a very good and suitable program for long-term development. Another, it's awareness and first involvement. So participants should be informed about a variety of athletic and physical activity possibilities, and their initial engagement should be good. It should be safe, welcoming, and inclusive. So it should be a good experience that can be categorized as safe, welcoming, and inclusive. Okay. So, and you really need to give proper information, instructions that if this in these participants, okay, we have a variety, a wide variety of different activities related to physical education and sports. Okay. Another differentiated activity. So in a differentiated activity, it could be high acrobatic, high kinesthetic, it could be as well common, late specialization, and transfer. So in the high acrobatic, it could be gymnastics, diving, figure skatings are early specialization sports that favor small bodies capable of fast rotation. It could be as well high kinesthetics, where activities were developing an early feel for the environment or equipment. Okay, and common, it could be a typical timing of specialization with peak performance in the late 20s or early 30s. Okay, so it could be a late specialization that it could be required on the mid 30s or later in years, that it could be golf, rowing, triathlon, and transfer, that sports that individuals do not generally take part into prior to late adolescence. So these are stages that could be considered, that could be done as well, activities that when we do these things, okay, we could categorize what are the activities we could engage to, what is the benefits of these activities to us. And it's really important, even in education, is the so-called differentiated learning or a differentiated approach. Okay, that students, participants can choose, okay, a specific activity that they love, they have a great interest onto it, and would really engage on this program or on this event. Another is appropriate specialization. So these are appropriate and inappropriate periods to specialize in sports or physical activity depending on the sports. But sometimes when athlete is have specialized too early, they risk, okay, limiting their development and performance as they become older. The main reason is that they didn't have enough time for them to really discover what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses. It's really important that before you specialize in one thing, you are already have that specific competencies and skills. Okay, a right activity or a right tournament or a right competition for you to really excel. Okay. Next is periodization. So is the use of time management in annual and seasonal training regimens to achieve optimal increases in athlete performance at time of the correct period. Okay, so it's really important. This is really important on how we would tend to manage our time on training, on activities, and engagements. Another is competition. So athletes must train and compete in accordance with training to competition ratios. You cannot compete for too many tournaments when you only train for a specific event. So it's really important that you have a balanced training for a specific competition. So going back to the so-called appropriate specialization and periodization, when you go to competition, it's really important that you train, okay, for a specific activity, okay, for a specific event, so that promote skills development and fitness while avoiding injury and burnout. Because when you engage too much, when you do things that are simultaneously, you cannot focus, you cannot tell what are my priorities, what are the things I need to consider, what are the things I need to prioritize, and I need to develop that would be helpful for me when I am in the competition. Okay, so it's really important for us to train and to know what are the things I need to prioritize for the competition. Okay. Transition. So transition into sports or physical education activities, the transition between long-term development phases, the transfer between this is a transition to remain active for life are all example of this one. Okay, when you transition for a grade school student, okay, or an athlete transitioning to high school to college, okay, until to and early adulthood, it's really important that we have this specific transition patterns so that it would be ladderized. Okay. Let's go now to the system factors. Hello. Let's go to the system factors. Okay. So these are
சேர் வச்சிருக்கல அதுல உட்கார்ந்துட்டு கையிலே வச்சுட்டு இந்த பேப்பரும் இங்க இங்க மாறி மாறி இது நான் வந்து மேல போகும்போது அது அப்படியே ஆயிடுச்சு.
ஹலோ
ரூஃப் காட்டிடுச்சு அது.
ஹலோ
நான் இல்ல நானும் இருந்த ஃபேனும் இருந்துச்சு.
Please mute.
மேல
Okay, let's
please continue. Sorry for the disturbance. Please continue.
Thank you, Dr. George. So these are essential for policymakers and organizational leaders because they guide how organization cooperates and collaborates to create the best system possible. Okay, so in any country, when you are doing such activities, it's really important that you have policies and laws or rules or regulations that creates a system of a specific sporting or physical education event that these are needed to be followed, things that really need to adhere on for us participants and for the people around an activity, okay, would be safe, welcome, engage. Okay, so the first thing is collaboration. Okay, going back on the previous discussion, it's really important that we are working hand in hand for us to give, okay, an optimal growth, success as well, and for us to really gain new experiences, for us to gain new technologies and innovation, trends, and considerations when we are creating a system, creating a program that will be implemented to those who would participate on that specific program. Lifelong development, okay, and lifelong engagement should be systematically organized, that in every stages that an athlete or a participant would pass through, there is a specific skill, competency that he or she would gain, that he or she would develop, okay, craft, okay, maximize, manipulate for his or her own advancement. Okay, and we really need to become specific. What would be our end goal? Okay, so as a policymakers, leaders, we also need to collaborate. We also need to seek guidance. We also need to seek help from other organizations or other institutions who have this strength, who have this ability, so that we could work and give a very good event, okay, or a very good program that would create a positive impact, okay, that would eager our students or participants or athletes for a long-term engagement. Okay, because when athletes or when participants would feel burnout, they don't have that specific interest on that specific program, it would result for them to stop or to find new ways for them to exert their energies. So it's really important that once we collaborate, so just like what the YMCA is doing, creating this conference, we are already collaborating, we are already creating this form of fusion or unity among physical education and sports professionals on creating how can we best contribute on the society, okay, onto the fraternity. And this would really help those people who would participate, even though they're an athlete, a student, an early adult, okay, an elderly. So we need to create this program that would really give our direct participant, our determined participants, what they need to gain, what they really need to have on that specific moment, and for them to really develop those things. It's not just collaborating for the purpose of this one, gain this one, gain another. No, this should be helpful. Okay, this should be very helpful, and the participants would be benefited on the aims, the goals, and the objective of that specific program. Okay. Next is system alignment. So the content, it could be skills, exercises, tactics, or strategy. Language used to explain them must be consistent throughout all papers. If there would be a resolution, if there would be policy, okay, it should be aligned to what is required by the state, by a ministry, by a department, okay, and with as well with the organization, what they aim or what are the expected outcomes. It's important that this is a system systematically aligned to what are we wanted to see or what are our expected outcome. Another thing is it should be safe and welcoming, because I hope you do as well agree on me that when an athlete, okay, when a participant is enjoying what he is doing, he or she feel that it is safe on that group, that organization, or that club, okay, that he or she is inclined to, very welcoming, and he or she can really show his or her potential without discrimination. It only means that I am giving that specific individual a chance, okay, a chance to really feel that I am someone who could succeed, someone with potential. That's why I need to engage myself in in a long term, because I need to even though I am best, okay, I am safe, I am being welcome, I have the potential, still there are things that I need to learn, that I need to cope up for me to really holistically develop, okay, ready, and would really participate with my outmost, okay, with my outmost potential. Okay, for a moment. Let's go to the next is the diversification. So we wanted that it should be a diversity, knowing that in different countries, okay, it's really important that going back to the guiding principle of being inclusive, okay, meaning you are already having this diversity of people, diversity of diverse participants. So it's very important that you have a multiple activities, multiple approaches, and would really have this kind of right to choice, okay, right to choose what are the best things for me to receive or to engage to, so that from time to time, when months and years would come, when would end, I am developing something to myself. my craft is being molded, the craft and the sports or the physical activity that I love is being somewhat growing with the years that I am engaged into that specific activity. Next, long-term development. Just like what I am discussing is that this is a lifelong engagement. Okay, it's not just, for example, you wanted to bodybuild. It's not just one day of participation and then tomorrow you will relax, you go to sleep, you go to mall. But without continuous participation, you would not achieve the body shape that you wanted. Okay, so it's a long-term engagement for a long-term development, because everything that we do, even in our life, we became somewhat a person that is in our position right now, or we are somewhat a person who have already contributed something, okay, have changed lives, have touched lives without proper engagement, without proper development, without proper values that we have gained throughout the years. Okay. Next is continuous improvement. It's important for us that we are having this continuous improvement, that everything has to change, even though knowing that the dominant thing in this world is change. We really need to update ourselves, even the system, the policy, the participants, the program. This should be improved from time to time. We really need to have changes. We really need to have advancement on the so-called programs and how we would tend to have the best experience to be given to our participants. Next is evidence-based. Okay, so evidence supporting the new paradigm is important in shifting from the old paradigm, because this evidence would give you on the evaluation stage, have we done well? What are the areas we need to change or we need to consider on updating? So those evidence are a very key and critical documents, or even things to work on for the improvement of such things related to long-term development and long-term engagement. So let's go to the long-term development in sports and physical education. So the goal is physical literacy, strive for excellence, and empower people to be active for life. Okay, when you know your responsibility, you know what you wanted to do, you know the things that you wanted to develop. Okay, that's the time that you develop, okay, a sense of how am I engaged on this for a long time. Okay, how am I striving for excellence, how would I improve myself, okay, and empower people to be active for life, being a role model, being someone who would be an advocate for an active life. Okay, so let's go first to the so-called pre-stages on how getting them involved. How can we get them involved? So you must be aware of an activity in order for you or someone in your care to participate in it. Thus, you must know that does this exist, okay, or where can it be found? So it's very important that the people should be aware of what is this activity or what is this event, okay, for them to be curious, for them to be informed, and for them to know that this activity is existing. This activity has evidences, have developed safe and welcoming and inclusive programs for you to be inclined to. And where can I find it, or where can I participate? How can I participate? What are the things I need to prepare for me to be considered as a participant? Okay, so it's specifically crucial for the underserved population for a while. So sometimes because we have this so-called being somewhat being close, okay, so we are not giving this kind of awareness to those who are on the underprivileged underserved population, such as the girls and women, people with disabilities, indigenous peoples, newcomers, members of the LGBTQ plus community, elderly seniors, and those living in poverty or remote communities. So when we do this awareness, it's important that we are welcoming everyone. Even though they are with this kind of uncertainties, okay, they are all welcome to participate. Okay, so on the first engagement, okay, they really need to have the so-called first encounter. The first impression really lasts, even in physical education and sports. Make sure that their first experience is positive, beneficial, enjoyable, so that in the end outcome, they would go back, they would still participate, and they would still engage. Okay? So organizations should carefully arrange new participants' initial experience to ensure that there are no barriers to participation, very important, that new participants feel included. Okay, looking onto the first two is that this is inclusive. Okay, that new participants have the opportunity to get to know current participants. Okay, that he or she would not be an outcast, someone who would be standing on his own on the corner, cannot participate because he or she doesn't know what to do, he is being discriminated. So it's very important that on the first engagement, you as a teacher, a coach, a facilitator, or an administrator should look into this, that this should not happen. Okay, that it is affordable for participants to get and stay involved, so that they would tend not to feel burned out, or they would always be interested to participate. That there is an appropriate facilities and equipment as needed, and the leader of the program has appropriate skills to adapt to the participants' needs. Sometimes, as a facilitator, you really know how to make your participants to engage. You need to motivate them and make sure that everyone is participating, no one are left behind. Those are the things that a facilitator or a leader of the program should have. Okay, let's go on how designing a strong foundation. Okay, these are the things in the early stages of lifelong development, in the so-called long-term engagement. So designing a strong foundation on the early years of a student athlete. So it's important that mastering fundamental human motion and building physical education habits are the goals for starters. Okay, those who are at the age, for example, age of 6 years old and up. Okay, so fundamental human motions, okay, or movement is essential. Okay, intermediate is focus on honing fundamental movement abilities. They could now have manipulation, development. Okay, next is developing a wide range of basic sports abilities. Now, let's go to the first stage, the birth to approximately 6 years of age. Okay, so as a teacher, okay, as a parent, you need to look onto this, or you need to have this knowledge so that you could properly give the right path to the learners, to the students, to the athletes, okay, or early participants, most especially um 6 years old, okay, a year 5 4, okay, years of students. So begin their path towards physical literacy. They really need to know first what are their responsibility, what are the things that they need to learn, okay, and for them to be motivated, because when they know what to do and when they have this knowledge of, oh, okay, I need to do these things, okay, if mommy or daddy didn't if mommy and daddy said that this should not be done during this course time, I should not do it. Those are initial activities or the initial instruction and direction that really that this is very important to a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, 4-year-old, or in the toddler years, to really know, to really understand what is their what are they doing on that specific time of course. Okay, make activity enjoyable and a regular part of the child's day. Okay, when it should be a play base, for very important, a play based approach. Development of movement and activity skills. Okay, focus on improving locomotor, object handling, okay, and balancing abilities in the range of motion on land, water. It could be, for example, if you're in the Western countries, ice or snow, and in the air. Okay, and follow the 24-hour movement recommendation for young children, which recommend that they be active for 180 minutes each day. So in 180 minutes per day, they should be active, because knowing um, uh, participants, okay, or toddlers or children in this age group, they are very active. So they really need to have such activities, okay, that would really take up their energy, okay, that they would really exert that energy on that specific activity. Okay, next, going to the second stage is boys approximately 6 to 9 years old and girls approximately 6 to 8 years old. Okay, so this is in the early childhood. Okay, so physical literacy is still being developed further. Develop essential movements as a regular basis. That even though, because knowing on the first stage, the essential movement or the movement skills, okay, are just balancing, okay, and this is done in a regular basis, but still, in the second stage, it's done regular, okay, on a regular basis, but with an emphasis on participation still and having fun. But it is with different approach, with different level, so that we could tend to see the progress of the participant. Activities that improves agility, balance, coordination, speeds, or the early ABCs of an early child should be prioritized. Okay, so the elements that will enable them to be more. Okay, and then encourage sports such as running, leaping, wheeling, tossing, catching, as well swimming, ice, and snow activities. Strengthen your physical activities using medical ball. Okay, introduce basic sports rule and etiquette, and no periodization.
Sir, we are running behind the time.
Okay, sir. I'm almost, sir, in the last, sir, the third stage. Boys from approximately 9 and girls from the approximately 8 to onset of adolescent growth spurts. Okay, so we will be introduced with ancillary capacities such as warm up, cool down, nutrition, hydration, and recovery. Informal talent identification, okay, introduction to formal local competition, single or double periodization, and sport-specific training 3 times per week. So I want to end my discussion with this quotation that if you had fun, then you won. Not everything that you are doing is when you didn't won, okay, you need to be sad, or you need to go on a couch cry, because if you are having fun, okay, on what you are doing, even though it's a physical activity or a tournament or a sporting event, even you lose, but you had fun, then you already won. That's it. That really is important for a participant for really be on a long-term development and a long-term engagement to physical education and sports. And with that, thank you so much for this opportunity for me to discuss this topic. Again, thank you, Dr. George Abraham, for the opportunity. Thank you so much, sir.
Pleasant morning to all. I would like to extend my bountiful thanks to Dr. Joelson and M. Santos for enlightening us in the area of lifelong development in sports and physical education. Sir, we are so fortunate to have you with us in this morning. The point that you have brought into the limelight regarding the long-term engagement in the sports activity and physical education, and also you have been enlightening with the benefits of sports and physical activities. And then you have said about the importance of the sports activity and sports on individual and the society. And then you have said about the guiding principles, that is quality, optimal, inclusion and collaborations. And then you have given the important factors like personal factors, organization factors and system factors. This was it was a highly informative, sir, what has been given to us. It was highly informative. Thank you, sir. And for our dear participants, now is the time to interact with the resource person. If you have clarifying the doubt, you can ask the question. You can ask the question to the resource person. Okay, sir, there is no question, sir. I have one question. Sir, can you please give us a suggestion to bring the school children back to the physical activity life again?
Come again, sir, the question?
Can you please give us some suggestions to bring the school children back physically active life again? There is, you have said about three things, that one is fun and then sports and then physical activity. Whether we start with the fun again or we have to start with the sports or we have to start with some physical activity.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for that very wonderful question, because being considerate as well on the current scenarios in the world brought by pandemic, okay? So even though that they are at home, okay, we really need to maximize things that they have, the resources that they have, okay? For us teachers, for us educators, for us professors, it's really important for us to come up with a program that would make the students, okay, engage when they know that it's fun, okay, when they discover something, when they find something, when they use their body, and if they have this so-called support with parents, with the teachers, proper instruction, okay, and they know that even though that they are at home, that activity that you are requiring them to do is fun, safe, welcoming, non-discriminative, and inclusive. That could be done as well with their siblings, relatives, or even their parents, okay? Being inclusive. And if we would be going back to the old normal, that we could be face to face, that we could interact to one another, it's very important as a teacher, as a professional, for us to consider first is what our student really needs, or what our athletes really needs. Because when we know what they need, that's the time we can consider what are the differentiated activities we could think of that would make them be interested on this activity. When they are informed, when they know that they are safe, when they know that the community they are included to is welcoming, and this activity gives me the ability, or it gives me the so-called chance to develop my potential, okay? And knowing that even though I'm not that good on that specific sports, or I'm not that good on that specific activity. A great praise, a recognition from the teacher, okay, for the or the professor who is facilitating that activity, a praise, a good recognition on the achievement of that specific student, okay, is a very motivating approach for the student and for them to really engage more and more for that specific activity. Nevertheless, it's not just being only fun, welcoming, but it's important as well that they are learning something. They would have this competency that they have learned as well to be developed, okay? Even though through step by step with frequent monitoring and standardization, still when they know that this is safe, welcoming, and fun, everything would be okay.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. On behalf of YMCA College of Physical Education Management, Correspondent and Secretary, Administrative Officer, Principal, staff members, and also on my personal behalf, we would like to honor with each certificate as a token of appreciation, sir. Kindly accept it, sir. Sir, please, kindly accept it.
Sir, thank you so much for the certificate, the opportunity that you have given. I hope that I have given a lot of information for the participants to reflect on and to adapt as well on the coming years and to the field. Thank you so much for the opportunity again. And Dr. George, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Santosh. He is not only an academician, he's a very known person in Philippines as well as Thailand. He's the president of International Association of Physical Education and Sports Incorporated. So he's a very outstanding person in the field of physical education. Thank you so much, Dr. Santosh, for your valuable session.
Over to Dr. Satish Kumar, Assistant Professor. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Bobby. I am Dr. S. Satish Kumar, Assistant Professor, YMCA College of Physical Education, Chennai. I'm here to introduce our second resource person, Dr. T. Pradeepan. Dr. T. Pradeepan, working as a senior librarian of UVA, Velasa University, Sri Lanka, attained his PhD in Library and Information Science from the University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka. He has awarded Professor Gangadhar Rao Memorial Gold Medal from the University of Madras for his outstanding performance in MSc degree. He serves as an editorial member and reviewer for many scientific journals and external member of evaluating PhD theses in many Indian universities. In 2019, he was awarded the Best Researcher Award for his outstanding contribution to library research and academic activities. Dr. T. Pradeepan published numerous research papers and presented papers in national and international conferences. He is an expert in the assessment of scientific performance of researchers and research team. We are honored to have you, sir, and the platform is all yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Satish Kumar, for your nice introduction. The principal of YMCA College of Physical Education, Chennai, guest of honors, those who delivered excellent and fruitful talks at this international conference organized by the YMCA College of Physical Education. Organizing secretary and organizing team members of this international conference, and my dear colleague, resource persons, Dr. Santosh from Philippines, participants, sisters and brothers, very good afternoon. It gives me a great pleasure in being one of the resource persons at this international conference organized by the YMCA College of Physical Education. As we know, YMCA College of Physical Education is one of the well-known and prestigious colleges in India. So I am so proud and fortunate in connecting with YMCA College of Physical Education. Thank you very much for this great opportunity to be one of the resource person to this important event. So I think I can share my slides to start my presentation.
Please, you can share your.
Yeah, sure. I think my screen is visible.
Yes,
So please carry on.
Okay, fine.
Yes, it is visible.
The COVID-19 situation has affected entire sectors of the world, as we know that. So education is also one of the sectors affected due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation. So during this COVID-19 period, the educationists and academicians started to rethink their academic learning and teaching and research and policies. So in this connection, open access is one of the resources for academicians and researchers and learners. So the topic selected by the organizing committee is a timely one to get a few more insights in the side of the audience. So I hope end of these sessions, you will be able to get some new ideas to include or to extract to your educational purposes. So open access for teaching, learning, and research. It is the topic today that I am going to cover. And I understood the feelings of the audience. So I would like to finish this presentation within 15 minutes. I will try my level best to finish it within 15 minutes, I am sure.
No, sir, you can take your own time.
It's
you
okay.
can take your own time.
So today's session going to cover the subtitles listed in this slide. What are the open educational resources? What is the meaning of that? The 5-year permissions of open educational resources, academic search engines, open courseware, open access journal databases, open educational initiatives in India that I have to highlight. Open PhD thesis, that is most important area that you should know. Open journal selection tools. Finally, the session will be over with the question and answer. What are open educational resources? As we know, open access or open educational resources benefits researchers, academicians, institutions, nations, and societies as a whole. So open educational resources are teaching, learning, and research resources that reside in the public domain and released under an intellectual property license that permits their free use and repurposing by others. As you know, that you may have heard about the common creative license, which is most important, that is giving permission to access and redistribute and to get something about open access resources. So the 5R permissions of open educational resources. These are the permissions and license matters that how that we can use open access resources. So what are the policy level? So that we can include under 5R. So that is retain, reuse, revise, remix, and redistribute. So when we try to share open education resources, that is coming under the redistribute, that is share with others. So you can see end of this or bottom of this slide, that is called Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 license, which is mainly covered under this license. So first, directly I'm going to the next topic, that is academic search engines. That is one of the famous and well-known search engines, that is Google Scholar. Most of the academics, sometimes also a few of the academics and researchers, if they wanted to search anything, so that directly they are going to Google. But instead of Google, the Google Scholar is better. That is always include only the scholarly literature and scholarly documents. So Google Scholar is the world's largest academic search engine. It is the power of Google searches applied to research papers and patents. It's not only you find research papers for all academic disciplines for free, but also often provides links to full text PDF files and documents. So these are the features that are provided by Google Scholar. So if anyone use only the Google, so better if you want to get any documents related to scholarly, so better use Google Scholar. So the second important source is Microsoft Academics. Microsoft Academic takes a different approach and generates for each paper, that is indexed and overview page that allows to easily explore top citing articles and references of articles. So it covers more than 210 million articles and abstracts, and related full text is also available, and cited by citation details, everything that you can get it from Microsoft Academics. So even that since we have no practical sessions to demonstrate these search engines, better you have to spend at least 15 or half an hour on this site, then you will be able to learn more and you can get some insights from these sites. Second and third important search engine is Core, which is introduced 7-8 years before. Core is an academic search engine dedicated to open access research papers. For each result, this links with a full PDF version of full articles or full page with a web page for a particular publisher site. And it covers approximately 135 million articles and abstract and related articles connecting with a full version of PDFs. And mainly, as you know, the leading publishers, who are leading publishers, suppose we can say Elsevier or Springer or Wiley Online, or Oxford University Press or Harvard University Press, or say Gemerald or Taylor and Francis, like that. So those are the world leading publishers. But when we try to access those journals or any documents from those publishers, it is very difficult. We have to subscribe, we have to pay money. Either we have to pay our own money, otherwise our institutions or country should have access for that. Apart from those subscribed or commercial based access, that all the publishers, they are providing free access and free accessible journals and sources through their publishers' website. But this Core site is integrating and bringing all those open access journal in a one umbrella and providing this full access papers to academicians, researchers, and learners for their research purposes and learning purposes. So it is also one of the great and important source, and you can use this Core web search engine for your intellectual and scholarly purposes. This is also takes time, so that you have to spend a few more times to familiar with this site. That is very important. And fourth one is science.gov government. So science.gov is a fantastic resource as it has the bundles and offers free access to search results from more than 15 US federal agencies. It is the site is based on the US. There is no need any more to query all those resources separately. Everything is provided by 50 agencies listed and indexed in a single search engine. That you have to go through that, you can use that. So one more thing I wanted to add here, you may think because most of the audience participants are here is connected with the physical education. These search engines not only for the science, other subject, it is covering entire discipline of the world. So you can search your own search terminology and your interested field, then you can get full text journal articles and full text PDF versions for your research purposes. And another important academic search engine is Semantic Scholar. Semantic Scholar is the new kind on the block. Its mission is to provide more relevant and impactful search results using AI-powered algorithms that find hidden connection and links between research topics. So instead of using Google's or Yahoo for your research purposes, better to use this kind of specified search engine for your research purpose. The Semantic Scholar contains more than 40 million articles. That is for your purpose. So OpenCourseWare. So that first we have seen the important academic search engine which are very useful for our academic learning and research purposes. Also, what I said was the world leading 5 academic search engines. So apart from those 5 search engines, there are a number of search engines available in the world for scholarly purposes. Anyway, better and use that 4 academic search engine for your research purposes, which are leading in the world and considered as highly recognized search engines. So next one is OpenCourseWare. OpenCourseWare are course lessons created at universities and institutions and published for free via internet. So during this COVID-19 pandemic situation, we are not going to our schools and institutions physically. We are working from home. We are learning and teaching from home. We have no direct connection, physical connection with our institutions. We may think, or we may guide our students towards connecting with many different courses available and provided by many leading institutions and universities in the world. So OpenCourseWare is one of the good source to learn, good source to follow some free courses, and resources and materials is also provided through those internet search options. Apart from that, it has many videos and related materials to learn through this OpenCourseWare. So MIT OpenCourseWare, it is world leading OpenCourseWare portal in the world. So MIT Courseware is a web-based publication of virtually all MIT course content. There are hundreds of course contents and courses available through MIT OpenCourseWare. You can visit, you can register, and you can select whatever the courses that you can follow based on your interests. So I don't take much time to follow other courseware. So here I would like to list what are the universities courses available, what are the coursewares available in the world provided by many universities. So which are School of Public Health at Johns Hopkins, Notre Dame, and the Open University UK, Stanford Engineering, Delft University of Technology, and UMass Boston, the University of Tokyo, and Yale University, which are the leading universities provided these open courseware in the world. That you can go through those links. I think you will get the PowerPoint PDF, PowerPoint presentation at the end of these sessions. So, okay, next, open access journal database. As I said, the subscription and paying money to access full text journal is difficult for individual persons. So world is also moving towards open access sources. So nowadays, all the world leading publishers provides many open access journals. So Directory of Open Access Journal is one of the famous open access directory connecting more than 6,000 journals published by thousands of publishers in the world, and it covers more than 70 languages published by more than 130 countries. So you can select based on the journal choice, and you can select whatever the article you need. And country-wise, you can select. There are many options available if you go through this site. So here also, I don't go for detailed explanation for other sites. Instead, I would like to list here some important sources. So apart from a Directory of Open Access Journals, the Digital Library of Common Repository is there, and Education Resources Information Center, it is an acronym for ERIC, and Science Open, that is also one of the famous source, and Public Library of Science, and Biomed Center, that is mainly for medical side, and Archive, ePrint Archive, and particularly that I have to say, since I am from Sri Lanka, there is a journal site which covers around 105 journals. All those 105 journals are freely available through Sri Lanka Journal Online. So apart from this list, there are a number of other resources available. Here I have listed only the important and the leading sources. Another one is open education initiatives in India. When we talk our open education system, open access technologies, so first we should know nationally is there any initiatives. So most of you may heard, or most of you have already used this kind of initiatives for your academic purposes. But sometimes if you are not aware, you can get some idea from this. So NPTEL, that is stands for National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, which is an initiative by many Indian institute IITs of India. So here there are 7 IITs already connected and together started NPTEL programs. That is one of the very good initiative by IITs. And second one is National Repository of Educational Resources. So another one is Project Oscar, Open Source Courseware Animations Repository. So there are millions of animations available through this Project Oscar site, and open education resources for schools. So mainly for school students, the teachers that they can get this idea and they can guide the students to use these open education resources for schools. During this COVID-19 period and pandemic situation, that these kind of resources are very important and very useful. And teacher education through school-based support in India. That is another initiatives in India. And finally, Sodh Ganga. Sodh Ganga is one of the good initiative for university level researchers and PhD scholars, as it has thousands of electronic theses from almost all leading Indian universities. So Shankanga is one of the good resource to go and to follow for your research purpose, even for PhD and research students that they can follow this Sodganga site. You can download entire thesis from the Sodganga. And open PhD thesis. Already, actually, I had a plan to explain many things in detail, but due to the time constraint, I decided to just highlight this idea. Then you can go for that for detailed usage. Okay, so open PhD. So when we see our institutions that we may have a thesis in our library physically, but instead of that, there are millions of open theses available in the world that we can download freely from many universities and institutions. But in the world projects, there are initiatives done by many institutions and consortium in the world. So first thing is DART Europe thesis portal. It has more than over 700,000 theses available freely. So you can go through this site and you can enjoy and you can download. And Ethos is based on UK. So it has more than 450,000 theses and dissertations. You can download and some of the theses you may not download from here, but anyway, more than 200,000 theses available freely through this site. And NDLTD, Network Digital Library of Theses and Dissertations. It is one of the world level projects. There are more than 100 countries connected with this project, and more than 1,000 institutions connected with this NDLTD. And you can have and you can download millions of theses through this NDLTD. And open access ProQuest dissertation and thesis. This is actually provides commercial basis site, that is ProQuest, but ProQuest also giving access for many theses and dissertations which are freely available. So that is called open access ProQuest dissertations. And again, I would like to mention, I would like to list one of the initiatives under the open PhD thesis, that is Sodganga, as I said in the previous slide. So the next one is open journal selection. So under the open journal selection, I would like to highlight one important things. So why do we need to think open journal selection? So it is a huge problem among academicians and researchers, even among university professors, because there are millions of journals available in the world, but we are not much aware about how to select proper, trustworthy, and impactful journals. Because there are fake journals and predatory journals in the world, it is very difficult to identify which is predatory, which is a good and a trustworthy one. So there are good and authentic sources available in the world. That I have seen some news came from India, mainly in the higher education system and UGC of India, and from mainly from Ministry of Higher Education and Education. So they say, so they are not going to accept the journal publication published in non-accepted journals and fake or predatory journals. The UGC Grand Commission of India already listed the approved and recognized journals, and they already listed some of the fake and predatory journals, which should not be accepted. So in this, we have to be careful. So is there any sources? So as we know, the world famous sources are Web of Science and Scopus, followed by many other resources are there. Anyway, we have to try to publish at least minimum number of articles in Web of Science Index Journal and Scopus Index Journal. So Scimago Journal ranking is one of the free source site that you can go and you can select the journal list and you can download and you can save it in Excel file. So there are different subjects, and even physical education subject is also there. You have to select a physical education subject, and all the journal list will appear. Again, you can select the country of origin. You need, suppose if you need a physical education journal only from India or only from German, you can select and you can get the list, and you can try to publish the articles using this site. So in addition to that, there are many options available in this site. Please go through this site and use as much as possible for your academic purpose. So another one is, as I said, Web of Science is one of the famous journal citation and abstracting site. Just a minute. Hello. Hello. Hello, just a minute. Yes. So there was a call from India number. That's what I just come across that. Sorry for that. So Web of Science is a world famous site. So if you want to try to select any journal from Web of Science, even just if we have abstract and journal article title, that here we have to put the title of our article, and we have to copy and paste the abstract of our article into this search box. So then we have to click on find journals. So all the journals will appear which are relevant to our topic and abstract. So this is, you can freely register, and you can sign in, and you can use it for selecting journal that you want to publish or you want to select from Web of Science. This is a free source. And the third one is under the Open Journal Selection Tools Journal Guide. It is also freely available source to select journals from various sources, which has no any restrictions. This is connecting many publishers. This has more than 50,000 journals connection, and you have to put the title and abstract which you already written for publishing purpose. And finally, you can select the journals and you can go through each and every journal scope and coverage, and your preferred journals, so you can try to publish. So in addition to that, here I would like to list some additional tools here. So Aiden's journal selection, here some of the journal selection tools that you need to subscribe for that. There are 3 sources available. Elsevier Journal Finder, that is freely available. That is to select journals from Elsevier. So Springer Journal Suggested, that is there. That is to select a journal published by Springer. So Willy Journal Finder is there. That is to select journals from Willy Online. So these are the important things that you can go through those sites by going through the particular sites. Oh, thank you very much for giving me these opportunities. Especially, I would like to thank the principal of YMCA College of Physical Education, Dr. George Sir, and especially I have to thank to my friend Dr. Prabhu, who invited me to be one of the resource person in this international conference. Thank you very much. I think this is time to take time to ask a question from the audience. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. It's a very informative session, sir. We are really very enjoyed your session and very informative. Personally, I have learned a lot of things from your presentation, sir. Dear participants, this is a session of questions. Please, any questions, please put on your chat box. Sir, one of the questions from the participants.
Yes, sir.
You are saying open course, some of the open courses are there in MIT and some other universities in the worldwide. These are all courses are recognized in India?
Yes, that is mainly recognized by the world. as all those institutions are recognized by many UGC and national level and international level institutions. That's what I have listed the well-known and leading open courseware. Those are highly recognized. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, that's all, sir. That's all the question section.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sir, 1 second, sir. Behalf of our college, our principal, and management of YMCA, we are honor you with the certificate, sir, in a virtual mode. Please accept your approval.
I do accept, sir. Thank you very much for your appreciation and thank you, sir. Yes.
Sir, our principal want to say something, sir.
Nothing. Please.
Thank you.
A warm good afternoon to all. I deem it as a great pleasure and a privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of YMCA College of Physical Education, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. At this outset, I thank my Lord Jesus Christ for providing the grace, wisdom, and strength to organize this international conference on EDULEARN 2021, a successful one. My profound thanks to Honorable Chief Guest, Professor N.S. Santosh Kumar, Vice Chancellor, the Tamil Nadu Dr. Ambedkar Law University, Chennai, for inaugurating this conference. Thank you, sir, for your valuable presence over here and informative speech about today's conference theme. I especially thank the special guest, Professor Chinnappa Reddy, former professor and director, SK University, Andhra Pradesh, for his thought-provoking message. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank the special guest, Professor M.L. Kamalesh, former principal, Sports Authority of India, LNCPE Trivandrum, for sharing your valuable thoughts on motivating the younger generation learners. Thank you, sir. It's my great pleasure to thank the guest of honor, Professor Jose James, former registrar, MG University, Kottayam, Kerala, for his remarkable speech on various factors in the field of education and its impact. Thank you, sir. My sincere thanks to the special guest, Professor R. Subramanian, Dean Academics and Head, National Sports University, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, Manipur, for extending your valuable inputs, especially highlighting the advanced technology in the field of education and sports science. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I sincerely thank the resource person, Dr. Javelson M. Santos from Pan Pacific University, Philippines, for his informative and a very interesting speech on physical education and lifelong development. Thank you, sir. I truly thank the resource person, Dr. T. Pradeepan from UVA Vellaza University, Sri Lanka, for enlightening us with his knowledge. The session was full of knowledge and interesting. Thank you so much, sir. My immense gratitude to the Board of Management, our correspondent and secretary, Mr. Benjamin Franklin, sir, administrator and estate manager, Mr. Rajiv George, sir, for their great support and guidance. I would like to thank our principal, Dr. George Abraham, for his enthusiastic support and hard work to organize this international conference and making this conference in a meaningful manner. Thank you, sir. I would like to I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the faculty members of YMCA College of Physical Education, Mr. Mughal and Mrs. Janet, for their unflinching support and coordination. Finally, thank you all the participants present here for paying your attention and learning throughout the program. Once again, I thank you all for making it a great success. Thank you so much. Thank you one and all. Have a great day. Valga Valamudan.
Thank you, the organization secretaries, Mrs. Mebelda and Dr. Prabhu, for your great effort to make this program in a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I like to give some instruction to the participants. The feedback link has been shared in the Zoom chat box as well as in the YouTube channel. Please fill up this form, and which will be available only for 2 hours. Before that, I kindly request to fill it form. While filling this form, you have to be very careful and select your site salutation and name in block letters with your initial, and select your designation and mention your institution, and also mention your WhatsApp number. And we will be sending you the certificate within the 3 working days, and which will be comes to your registered email ID as well as to your WhatsApp number. Once again, I reminding you the feedback link which will be available only for 2 hours. At this junction, I thank all the resource person, guest of honor, and chief guest for your valuable support and valuable speech, and your presence made this conference a great success zone. Principal, sir. அவ்வளவுதானே மேடம்?